Swings, lines it into right field. That's going to get down. Varsho rounds third. He's coming in. Clement to third base. The Blue Jays on the board first as Addison Barger delivers an RBI single. It is 1-0. Guerrero swings left field, and this one is not coming back. Into the bullpen for the red-hot Guerrero. Hang 'em and bang 'em. Bye-bye baseball. And Vlad gives the Blue Jays a 5-0 lead on his 6th home run of the postseason. Reaches out on the infield. It's popped up. Clement makes the play. And we will have a Game 7 to decide the American League Championship. The Blue Jays win it 6-2.
Gotta enjoy it, man. You know, this is what we sign up for. Whenever you can play for Game 7 to go to the World Series, it sounds kind of cool to say it, you know? But this is why we sacrifice everything. It's why players sacrifice everything. It's special and unique, but you have to look at it as a game. You know, again, easier said than done.
All the news, notes, and analysis from Major League Baseball's postseason. This is Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Christine Lisi.
Hello and welcome in. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday night for Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, Mariners and Blue Jays. Seattle, the only Major League Baseball team without a World Series appearance, is playing in its first Game 7. Toronto is playing in just its second ever. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger.
News, notes, and scores. This is the leadoff.
Let's take a listen to how we got to tonight's winner-take-all matchup with a recap of Game 6.
Nobody out, 2-2 with 2 on. Here it comes. Swings, lines it into right field. That's going to get down. Varsho rounds third. He's coming in. Clement to third base. The Blue Jays on the board first as Addison Barger delivers an RBI single. It is 1-0. Barger 1 for 1. Looks at the 0-1. Swings and sends this one to right. Canzone's looking back. That's deep and it's gone. Addison Barger blasts off to right. The Blue Jays have a 4-0 lead. Gilbert takes a deep breath at the belt on the 1-1. Guerrero swings left field, and this one is not coming back. Into the bullpen for the red-hot Guerrero. Hang 'em and bang 'em. Bye-bye baseball. And Vlad gives the Blue Jays a 5-0 lead on his 6th home run of the postseason. Here it comes to Canzone. Reaches out on the infield. It's popped up. Clement makes the play. And we will have a Game 7 tomorrow night to decide the American League Championship. The Blue Jays win it 6-2.
What a night that was in Toronto. For more on tonight's game, let's head north of the border and our broadcast team, alongside ESPN Radio MLB analysts Tim Kirkjian and Eduardo Perez. Here's Carl Ravitch.
Christine, thank you very much. Here with Tim Kirkjian, Eduardo Perez. Tim, you have seen how many Game 7s?
25. This is 25. Luckiest man in the world.
All right, so you're the luckiest man in the world. Is there anything that you can glean from the anticipation to the outcome? Meaning, is there a favorite and what happens? How do you describe sort of Game 7s and what you think is going to happen relative to what does?
I don't think there are any Game 7 favorites anymore, especially in this unpredictable season. I've seen teams win on the road in Game 7. I've seen teams that lost Game 6 and 5 win Game 7. There's no magical formula. It's just who can handle the pressure of a winner-take-all game. It is enormous pressure.
Winner-take-all means literally, with the exception of the starting pitchers from last night, everybody is going to be available. How many starting pitchers are we going to see relative to bullpen regulars, Eduardo, in this one?
Can we just stop on the all-hands-on-deck here thing, right? Because it really is going to be a short leash, I think, for both guys. That's the reality of what's going on here. George Kirby, you got Shane Bieber, they're starting the game. But they have to do something special to be able to get through a lineup twice. That means that Shane Bieber's slider is happening, and that means that George Kirby is actually not missing bats, but getting soft contact in the zone where he needs to place the ball against a team like the Toronto Blue Jays that just are reluctant to strike out. Defense is going to win this ball game. It's not going to be offense. It's going to be defense.
All right, superstars win games. We've seen Barry Bonds carry teams. We've seen David Ortiz carry teams. Vladimir Guerrero is doing just that. Do they pitch to him?
I wouldn't pitch to him, but sometimes you have no choice. He's got 18 hits and 39 at-bats. He's hit 6 home runs, driven in 12 runs, and struck out twice. I asked Ernie Clement before the game, can you explain Vladimir Guerrero? He said, there is no explaining him. He is on a different level than everyone else. Kevin Gossman told, you can't pitch to him. He's got a big swing, but he covers everything. And right now, he's hitting everything.
Down and away. You have to pitch to him down and away. The bottom quadrant. You have pretty much the right guy on the mound, too. It's not about power. It's about finesse. Can you hit your spots on the down and away pitch and challenge him to try to elevate that pitch the other way? The exit velocity is almost 100. When you look at the OPS, it's almost 100 points lower when you do pitch to him in that spot. There are ways, but the most important thing, keep traffic off the bases. Because if he does create damage, let it just be one run, not multiple runs.
Christine, Game 7. You know what that means. The two greatest words in sports. Will the Mariners make their first ever World Series, or will Toronto go back to the World Series for the first time since '93? First pitch is coming up in just a bit.
Guys, thank you. We cannot wait for the start of this one. Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Don't forget to tune in to tonight's trivia question, airing later on in the broadcast, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. I'm Christine Lisi. First pitch between the Mariners and Blue Jays is 32 minutes away. Let's welcome in ESPN MLB insider Buster Olney. Buster, the guys touched on it a little bit ago. Will the Mariners pitch to Vladdy Guerrero Jr. tonight?
So I don't think so, Christine. Look, I asked Dan Wilson a few minutes ago how he looks at Vladdy now compared to the start of the series, and he kind of nodded and he goes, yeah, he's really hot right now. You look at the lineup and you don't want him to beat you. You need somebody else to beat you. And that's code for they're probably not going to get him opportunities to damage them because, my God, in a postseason in which you have Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Cal Raleigh, Vladdy has been easily the best hitter with what he's doing. It's insane. A .462 batting average, 9 extra base hits, including 6 homers, 6 walks, and just 2 strikeouts. 9 extra base hits and 2 strikeouts. So, yes, I think in Game 7 tonight, if there are meaningful situations in which Vladdy comes up, they will not pitch to him. They will pitch around him.
So if they don't pitch to Vladdy, who is responsible in that Toronto batting lineup to get it done at the plate?
And John Schneider, when we talked to him, it's pretty clear that they're anticipating that this is a possibility. And we talked a lot about Alejandro Kirk, where this is, again, like a lot of the Blue Jays hitters. He's really good at putting the ball in play. He can make hard contact. He's been underwhelming to some degree in this series. He's 5 for 23, 1 double, 1 home run, 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. However, that can turn around in a moment. And John said that he's one of these guys who will take it personally if they pitch around Vladdy and go after him with runners on base. We're going to find out tonight.
Who follows Jays starter Shane Bieber once he's out of the game?
Look, it is an absolute buffet of pitching that they will choose from. We saw Max Scherzer out throwing out in the outfield earlier today. Chris Bassett is another possibility. With Jeff Hoffman throwing 32 pitches last night, Louis Varland throwing 22 pitches, each of those guys will probably work tonight, but maybe they'll be limited. I think Kevin Gossman is going to play a big role. I talked to him earlier, and we talked about his process of getting ready to come into the game as a reliever, and he talked about how your adrenaline gets going when the phone rings. He mentioned that bullpen game they had against the Yankees. He said the phone was ringing so much it was like it's like 20 times, and it's kind of driving you crazy. He will be out in the bullpen early tonight if he's needed to take over from Shane Bieber.
Talk about Seattle's lineup changes tonight.
Yeah, so I think that what we're seeing is that Dan Wilson wants to stack his best hitters together, which makes a lot of sense. He moved Julio Rodriguez up to leadoff spot earlier in the season series. Now he has Cal Raleigh hitting 2. And for tonight's game, Josh Naylor goes in the 3 spot with Jorge Polanco dropping down the 4 spot. And look, Dominic Canzone has really struggled in this series, and so he's replaced tonight by Victor Robles, who's a right-handed hitter going up against the right-handed throwing Shane Bieber. But he's a better defensive player, and I think they just we've seen Canzone struggle so much, 2 for 21 with 7 strikeouts, that they just wanted to look at somebody different.
Now, Buster, there's something unique about Mariners starter George Kirby in going up against that Toronto lineup that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, he pounds the strike zone. Like, that is his strength. And here's the thing. He's going up against a team that hits pitches in the strike zone as well as anyone. The highest rate of contact for any team in baseball in the Toronto Blue Jays. After Kirby struggled in his first start in this series, I was standing when he talked to reporters. He said, look, I'm not going to change. Like, this is who I am. I'm always going to try to work ahead in the count, and that's going to be somewhat of a challenge tonight.
Now, the team awaiting the winner of tonight's series is the Dodgers. What are your thoughts on the defending champs having a week off before the World Series starts?
And I've talked with baseball people with other teams who are saying, look, one day off is not the same as having a week off. It actually might be a little bit of an issue for the Dodgers. But let's face it, Christine, once the series starts, the great equalizer is the fact that they're going to have all these starting pitchers incredibly well rested, normal rest plus extra days lined up to go again with Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani. All the relievers that they use, they're going to be fully rested. So, if you were to poll managers, general managers, on whether or not they like the extra rest for their teams, I think it would be nearly unanimous. They all like having this extra time.
Buster, I want to ask you, when I've been watching the Dodgers this postseason, everything that they do and how things kind of fall their way, they remind me of the Derek Jeter late 90s Yankees teams. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so they, of course, and that team was the last team to go back-to-back, which is what the Dodgers are trying to do right now. I think you're on to something. And here's the biggest thing that these Dodgers remind me of with those Yankee teams. It felt like, is once you got into, like 1999, 2000, 2001, like the regular season got boring for those teams because they played in so many meaningful games. Joe Torre once called a team meeting with those Yankee teams that I covered, and he literally said those words, you can't turn it on and off like a light switch. Well, you know what? Those Yankee teams did, and so did these Dodgers.
Buster, thanks so much for joining us.
Christine, it's always fun talking with you. Now get those Bills back on the field for my football fantasy team.
Buster. Our Buster Olney. MLB Insider is brought to you by Empower. Take control of your financial future and empower what's next. Coming up on baseball tonight, will the extended time off help or hurt the Dodgers in the World Series? You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch, and Prize Pick is making sports season even more fun. On Prize Picks, whether you're a football fan, a basketball fan, or a fan of both like me, it always feels good to be right. On Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app.
Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OT to get $50 instantly in site credits after you play your first $5. That's code OT to get $50 in site credits after you play your first $5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems and missed messages cost you opportunities. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication, helps teams collaborate seamlessly, and respond to customers 24/7 with their AI agent. Join over 90,000 businesses using Quo. Try it free, then get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/ESPN, QUO.com/ESPN. They'll even port your existing numbers for free. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Exclusively on ESPN, UFC 321, this Saturday. At a special time of 2 p.m. Eastern, the heavyweight championship is on the line as reigning champion Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall, the UFC heavyweight champion.
Defends his belt against dangerous contender Cyril Gane.
This man's absolutely terrifying.
UFC 321, Saturday at a special time of 2 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV. The Kickoff with Taylor Tannenbaum and Trevor Scales.
Lane Kiffin does not have a top-end SEC job. Is he really going to stay at Ole Miss indefinitely?
Pulling him away from Ole Miss feels like just a gargantuan task, man. It's like that is a program that will fork over whatever is necessary to keep him in those bounds if they want him there. And while I agree, I don't know that Penn State has the gumption, if you will, to be able to pull that off.
Check out The Kickoff on YouTube, Facebook, and on the ESPN app. The Rich Eisen Show.
Bert Kreischer back on the program. Why are we calling it permission to party?
Certain times you get a permission to party, and it's always when the person that doesn't drink says, I don't know, do you want to do a specialty cocktail tonight? And you're like, I just got permission to party. That energy is the reason I party. And the reason I'll never stop partying. We turned on the hot tub last night, and Leanne goes, should we open a bottle of rosé? Immediately I go, oh, we're getting lit tonight. Like, that energy is what I'm looking forward to.
The Rich Eisen Show, from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Talk about stepping up. It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
The NBA on ESPN Radio.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder begin the defense of their title on opening night. They go head-to-head against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets.
Durant for three.
The Rockets at the Thunder. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern, with tip-off at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
ESPN presents El Clásico, the greatest rivalry in sports.
Another clash of the old enemies, Real Madrid and Barcelona.
A match that stops the world, featuring Kylian Mbappe and Lamine Yamal, the brightest stars in global football.
It's one of the biggest rivalries in football.
El drama, el honor, el legado, El Clásico. Real Madrid versus Barcelona, Sunday, only on ESPN Plus, ESPN2, and ESPN Deportes.
And that's in there for strike three. That's the way it's going for Ohtani, who is now 1 for 18, and he has struck out 9 times.
1 and 2. Here comes. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Peralta able to get Ohtani for the second time. Shohei 0 for 3, and there's one away. Here comes Mookie Betts.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
The Dodgers are headed to the World Series, and they'll get a chance to defend their title here tonight. Shohei Ohtani with the single greatest individual performance in postseason history. 6 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts, and he hits 3 homers, and the Dodgers win the pennant.
I'm Christine Lisi. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger.
Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I'm Christine Lisi. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger. First pitch for Game 7, Mariners Blue Jays, is 23 minutes away. The Dodgers await the winner of this ALCS, with the World Series set to begin on Friday night. For an LA perspective, Dodgers broadcaster Jerry Hairston Jr. joins us. Jerry, after Shohei Ohtani's struggles at the plate throughout a good deal of the postseason, he put on his Superman cape in the NLCS in Game 4 against the Brewers and had one of the greatest postseason performances we've ever seen. How was he able to break out of his funk so impressively?
Well, I think first and foremost, he's probably the most talented athlete going right now in the world. And you mentioned his struggles. I think he was kind of hearing their chatter, and I knew that he was going to go out and dominate on the mound. You know, just the way he carried himself the last few days, working, you could see him being more upset. You know, everybody struggles, but I think he said, okay, enough's enough. So I knew he was going to go out there and really pitch a gem on the mound. Now, I didn't see him going out there and hitting 3 home runs, But he's just such a talented player, the most talented player I've ever seen. And for him to put it all on one night, really on one of the biggest stages that we have in our sport, in a game-clinching game, I mean, it was just something to see. So he's certainly talented, and anytime a guy that talented figures it out, look out.
Can you compare what he did in that game with the 3 home runs? Can you compare that to anything else in like another sport, another athlete? Anything come to mind?
I think, I used to always say, when kids ask me what was Michael Jordan like, I used to always say just combine, either take your pick, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes now, and combine him with Lawrence Taylor. Offense, defense. That's what Michael Jordan was, the best offensive player and the best defensive player at the same time. That's what made him so special. And then now seeing Shohei Ohtani, the feeling that I had is the same feeling I used to get watching MJ doing his thing and then watching Tiger. So I think that's the only thing I can compare it to. What he did, like he was just so head and shoulders above everybody else. Now, Barry Bonds was head and shoulders above everybody else with the bat. We couldn't even pitch to him. We had to walk him. But Shohei was doing it at the plate and then also on the mound. That's what was so crazy about it. Defensively, offensively, it was something special. So he brought back Tiger Woods in his prime and Michael Jordan in his prime. That's the feeling I got.
The Dodgers have quite a few days off before the World Series gets underway on Friday night. Any concerns about rust for them?
I think there is maybe a little bit of concern, but there's no excuse. That team's not going to make any excuse. I think guys that are banged up, they're going to use that opportunity to get healthy or as healthy as they can be. I think it's good for our bullpen. Have guys well rested heading into the World Series. And I think now for us, we can really line up our pitching staff. Who we want going game 1, game 2. I don't know what they're going to do. Do they go Yamamoto? Do they go Snell game 1? Maybe they wait to see who they're going to play in Toronto or at home against the Mariners. So either way, they're going to be ready to go. Once again, there's no excuses. These guys are focused. These guys are on a mission, and I expect them to play great in the World Series.
Talk about the biggest strength of LA heading into the World Series.
It's their starting rotation. Their starting rotation, the way Blake Snell's throwing the ball, Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, we just saw Shohei Ohtani. Those 4 guys are extremely confident. They have everything working. That is the strength of this team. And you know what? That was the strength of the team going into the season. Last year we won a World Series with really not a great starting rotation. They just played great together, and they had an incredible bullpen, and they pieced together games, and they were able to win the World Series. This season, they come into the season going in, hey, we need to make sure we have our starting rotation set intact and healthy, and they have that going into this World Series.
What's their biggest weakness?
I think the biggest weakness is, I think, time. You just mentioned it earlier, this long layoff. Could it be a weakness? I don't know. I think that's yet to be seen. Ideally, in a perfect world, you would like a couple days off and continue being back out there. But right now, on the field, on paper, they don't really have none. I think they got to make sure they hit with runners in scoring position. I didn't think they did that from a performance standpoint the way they're capable of doing in that last series. I think they need to be better against either the Seattle Mariners or the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jerry, thanks so much for joining us.
Anytime.
Dodgers broadcaster Jerry Hairston Jr. I'm Christine Lisi. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger. First pitch between the Mariners and Blue Jays, Game 7 of the ALCS, is 17 minutes away. One night after skipper Dan Wilson's Mariners failed to clinch the first pennant in franchise history, they've got another chance to do so tonight on the road in Toronto. He spoke earlier today with our Carl Ravitch.
All right, Dan, you and I talked about this yesterday. Like the idea that you woke up and you're the manager of a team in a Game 7 to get to the World Series. What do you think about that?
It's crazy. But here we are. And, we have a job to do tonight. I think our guys are ready to go. A tough one last night. And obviously, a little somber in here. But, almost immediately your attention and their attention certainly the last night turned to Game 7 and what an opportunity that we have in front of us. And so these guys are ready to go and keeping them, at the right space, in terms of anxiety and and emotion is the key. But they're all in a good spot. They know what they have to do.
A lot of folks will break down a 9-inning game into thirds. Do you look at the importance of the first third of a Game 7 to be more critical than any other?
In terms of a guy like Bieber, a little bit more of a veteran, and typically getting on a veteran pitcher early is good. Yeah. So in terms of that, yes. But in terms of a Game 7, we've talked about a momentum shifts throughout this entire series, and a Game 7 is going to have several of those. So, you're never out of a game like this, and our guys have fought all season long, and will continue to fight 1 through 9. So, on the other hand, there's a lot of baseball to be played after that first third.
When you put this lineup in, which is a little bit different, how excited were you to write the names where you wrote the names?
Yeah, very. This is a lineup that's been very deep and has done a lot of great things offensively, and last night did a lot of good things offensively, just didn't get the key hit and grounded into 3 double plays. So that's, we were right on the cusp, and we've been on the cusp, and this is a team that will continue to do what they do. They'll go out there tonight, execute the same, they'll get guys on base, and tonight's the night to drive them in.
Well, good luck. You're one of 30 managers, but one of 2 that get to manage a Game 7 for an LCS and a trip to the World Series. It's pretty cool.
It's very exciting, and we're excited about it, and these guys are ready to go.
Good luck. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Carl.
Christine, back to you.
Thank you, Carl. Carl Ravitch with Seattle Mariners manager Dan Wilson. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger. With supplies and solutions for every industry, Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click, or just stop by. Today's trivia question is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Toronto's George Springer is playing in his 8th winner-take-all postseason game tonight. That's 2 shy of the Major League record of 10. Who holds that record? Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Coming up next, what it's like to have a whole country behind one team. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HIGHLIGHTS. That's promo code HIGHLIGHTS. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Yes! Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
MLB's postseason is down to 4 teams. Now, the moment these players have been dreaming of their whole life is within reach, where one play changes everything.
Oh, my word, what a play. Can't do it any better than that.
That's baseball at its finest. October hits different. Postseason 2025. Baseball is something else. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
A bouncing ball to Frank White. That could be it. The Royals have won it. So in the deafening silence of Exhibition Stadium, the Royals have come from 3 games down.
That was the final call of Kansas City's 6-2 victory over Toronto in Game 7 of the ALCS on October 16th of 1985, which was the only other time the Blue Jays played in a Game 7. I'm Christine Lisi. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Joining us is Sportsnet Blue Jays writer Ben Nicholson-Smith. Ben, what did the Blue Jays show in coming back from a 2-0 deficit and a 3-2 deficit in the ALCS against the Mariners?
Well, all year they've been a comeback team. They didn't get off to the greatest start. They had 49 comeback wins in the course of the season. So even when they went down 2-0, it seemed like they had a chance to come back as long as they stuck to what had got them this far. And so here they are, tied 3-3 with a chance to get back into this thing. I think it's their tenacious at-bats. It's some very good starting pitching lately and good enough relief pitching, with the exception of Game 5, to get them to a really good spot here at home trying to win Game 7.
Which Mariners player besides Cal Raleigh scares Toronto the most tonight?
Wow. I think it's got to be Suarez. I mean, to hit 2 home runs in Game 5, that was pretty massive. And I think it almost gets overlooked because he was traded this year, but he hit 49 homers. And I think that for baseball fans, of course, we're used to seeing Eugenio Suarez do a lot of damage at the plate. But I almost think he does get overlooked in this lineup with Naylor and a Rosarena and a lot of stars, and, of course, Raleigh. But, yeah, I think the Jays have to be pretty worried about Suarez.
Now, what are your expectations for Shane Bieber tonight? In his previous start in the series, he gave up an early home run, but then he held strong and he had a really good performance. What are your expectations for him tonight?
They need him, right? He was such a big part of their trade deadline plans. Probably the best starter traded at the deadline, better than Merrill Kelly or Zach Littell. And he's been really good for them, but they obviously need him today, not only because of the stakes of the game, but you also look at how they used Jeff Hoffman yesterday, pitching 2 innings, throwing a season high in pitches. He has been used pretty heavily, so you're probably not going to be able to get 2 quality innings out of him tonight, which means you're going to need an extended start from Bieber. And then maybe you go to Kevin Gausman at some point. Sir Anthony Dominguez wasn't used in Game 6, so he should be available. Of course, Hoffman should be available for 1, but confidence has to be diminished in Brendan Little today from the left side. So I think they need at least 5 from Bieber to be in a good spot. Probably, 5 2/3, 5 1/3, somewhere in that range. Then you hand it over to the Louis Varlands of the world and hope for the best. But I think they need something of a traditional start from Shane Bieber today.
Now, we all think of Vladdy when we think of the Blue Jays. He's kind of the first guy that comes to mind. Who might be a surprise hero for Toronto tonight?
I always look at Alejandro Kirk in these games just because he gets the bat on the ball, and it hasn't been a great postseason ever since he hit the 2 home runs in one game, of course, against the Yankees, and that was an amazing start to things. But he has slowed down since then, and I think that in any given day, Kirk just has the potential to get the barrel to the ball, hit one into a gap, and you know he's not going to be fazed by the moment.
Ben, thanks so much for joining us.
Anytime.
Sportsnet Blue Jays writer Ben Nicholson-Smith. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Grainger. It's all hands or arms on deck in Game 7 for the Mariners and Blue Jays. That includes Toronto righty Kevin Gausman. He spoke earlier tonight with our Carl Ravitch.
Christine, thank you very much. Let's start with Vlad. You've seen him for a long time. Are you, as a veteran, watching somebody sort of really come into his own? And if so, what kind of satisfaction do you get as a baseball player to see that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about coming into his own. You know, he's been pretty good since he's kind of stepped into the scene. But, yeah, I think he's just kind of took to the leadership role of you know, being obviously the face of our franchise, to be honest. You know, he's the first name that someone talks about when they say the Blue Jays, to be honest. So, you know, and I think most importantly, he just really wants to win. So he's really fired up to be in this spot. And, you know, he's the guy that likes to play in the big stage, and he knows he can take his game to another level in those stages.
So I read about your neighbor, a female who sort of predicted the Blue Jays-Dodgers World Series, but rather than go into that, you kind of had this vision years ago with regards to Vlad and Bo, like, this is going to be something. Do you feel like, in some ways, the crystal ball was accurate here?
Yeah, you know, I mean, you got to look at the team that I signed here with. You know, it was after 21. I think they had the best offense in baseball in 21. Teoscar was here still. Gurriel was here. You know, it was a lot different team than now, but, you know, looking at, honestly, those two guys over there, Bo and Vladdy, I knew those guys were probably going to be here for a long time. It's been cool to watch this organization take the necessary steps to take that next step. And, you know, listen, we got punched in the face last year. It was a rough year for everybody, but the whole organization really looked inward at what we needed to do to kind of change the script and what we needed to add or minus. And, man, you know, hats off to them because they did a great job of getting everybody on board.
Kevin Gausman with Carl Ravitch. Don't forget to log on to @MLB on ESPN Radio on X to vote in the AutoZone in the Zone poll question. Who's going to get in the zone for tonight's game? Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Vladdy Guerrero Jr., or George Springer. Now let's send it to Toronto for Game 7. Alongside ESPN Radio's Eduardo Perez and Tim Kirkjian, here's Carl Ravitch.
Well, thanks, Christine. And looks like the computer outage online that was affecting some of the tickets this evening has been cleared up, and all 44,000-plus seats are full. Why wouldn't they be? Gates open, and a Game 7. Tim Kirkjian, Eduardo Perez, you've seen so many of these, Tim. Is there any way to characterize how they play out?
No, there's no way, especially in this unpredictable 2025. All we know is that both of these teams came in the same year. 1977. The Mariners have never been to the World Series. The Blue Jays haven't been back since 1993. This has the makings of a tremendous series because every Game 7 is great. I can't wait to see. I can't sit still here, and I don't even care who wins.
When do you think we're going to have, and maybe this is it because the way you assume the pitchers are going to be used, but the average margin of victory in this series, 6 games now, is over 5 runs a game. We haven't had that classic tight game yet, really.
Yeah, but 5 out of the 6 games going into the 6th inning have been tight. And let's not forget, every one of those pitchers, the starting pitchers that are usually on the bench, they're going to be in the bullpen early, and the managers from both sides will not be afraid to go to them early.
Will it be a race to the bullpen? Do you think the first team that has to make the move to the bullpen is the one that's in the biggest trouble, or does that not necessarily translate?
Not necessarily translate. As a matter of fact, both managers are hoping they don't have to go to the bullpen until at least the 6th inning. That means their starter is actually doing what he is supposed to do, hitting his spots.
Game plan brought to you by eBay. Millions of finds, unbeatable deals. eBay, things people love. Hitting the spot, that's not been a problem for George Kirby. The problem is the Blue Jays hit strikes. And on the other side, it is Shane Bieber.
And you talk about trade acquisitions. Here we are in a Game 7. The former Cy Young winner is on the mound for the Blue Jays.
Right, and one of the Mariners told me, if Shane Bieber throws 75 pitches tonight, I promise you he won't throw as many as 25 fastballs. He said, look for the changeup, the slider, and the knuckle curve. Those are the pitches that worked exceptionally well in Game 3 when he turned this series by winning that game.
Seattle lineup is different tonight. Julio Rodriguez will lead things off. He took over the top spot following Game 5. Cal Raleigh hits 2. Josh Naylor, who's been great, has been moved up into the 3 spot. Jorge Polanco's the designated hitter. He will bat 4th. Randy Arozarena, then Eugenio Suarez. J.P. Crawford hits 7th. The shortstop Leo Rivas is at second base, batting 8th. And Victor Robles is back, and he's playing right field. The Blue Jays are on the field wearing their all-whites. Bieber's getting his last warm-up pitches in. Secret for the Mariners early in this one.
Well, they have to get it to Bieber early, just like they did the first time. It was Julio Rodriguez that was able to take him deep, but he took him deep when he wasn't in the leadoff spot. Rodriguez swung at the first pitch yesterday. I think they're going to try to get to the fastball early.
Quinn Walcott has just brushed off home plate. He is our umpire tonight, calling balls and strikes. Julio Rodriguez has stepped into the batter's box. And we are getting closer to the start of Game 7. Vlad Guerrero at first base. Just walked over and shook hands with Doug Eddings, the first base umpire.
The fans are standing, Ravi, and they'll probably be standing for 9 innings.
Julio Rodriguez, 8 for 43 in the postseason. 3 homers, is ready. Here we go. Bieber's first pitch misses down and away. It is ball 1 for Shane Bieber, who is the 8th former Cy Young winner to start a winner-take-all game. And the next one, Rodriguez, fair ball down the line into the corner and left. And Julio, who had been 0-for since moving into the top spot, leads the game off with a double.
85-mile-per-hour slider that Julio Rodriguez sat on and was able to keep it fair. Pitch stayed up. They were fortunate that that ball stayed on the ground. It was hit hard off the bat, 107.2 miles per hour. No chance at all for Ernie Clement to make the play.
All right, well, now a few of these fans have sat down. What a great start for Julio Rodriguez, his second double of the postseason. And the leadoff man is in scoring position with a big lead against Bieber. And here comes Cal Raleigh, the catcher, off a phenomenal regular season. First pitch to him is high and away. Ball 1.
He's thrown 2 fastballs already, both of them way out of the strike zone. He needs to land the fastballs. He might not throw many of them, but they have to be effective pitches.
Last night it was the 3 consecutive inning-ending double plays that really hurt the Mariners as he swings and misses at a slider at 85.
And that slider is his best pitch. League hit 175 against it. He's got 5 different pitches he can get you out with. The slider is his best one.
Weird game for Cal Raleigh. They throw behind Rodriguez, and he dives back safely.
Tell you what, though, that throw right there was an elevated throw that Jimenez had to reach up. If it was a lower throw close to the bag, it would have been a close play.
He's lucky it didn't sail into center field. Rodriguez would be at third base. Raleigh struck out 3 times last night and also hit into one of those double plays. It's a 1-1 count, and here it comes. And that's fouled off at the plate, rolling towards first, and it will be a foul ball. Guerrero had a chance to charge it, keep it fair, but he opted to let it roll foul right around 5 feet in front of the bag.
Yeah, sometimes the pitcher will yell, having been at first base, just get it, get it, get it. You'd rather trade the out, especially with a power hitter like Cal Raleigh in this ballpark where he has had a lot of success.
He had a chance to make that a fair ball.
I would take the out every day here, even if you move a guy to third with less than 2 outs, because it's Cal Raleigh.
He had the 60 home runs during the regular season, breaking the Mariners' single-season record. Bieber's at the belt, 1-2. It's getting loud again, and he misses off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He threw a knuckle curve there.
Raleigh 2 for 11 lifetime against Shane Bieber. His goal is just to get that guy to third with less than 2 outs.
So Bieber's postseason this season struggled against the Yankees in the division series. And remember, in Game 3, gave up 2 runs in the first inning. He went into his dugout and said, I got my A stuff. Pick me up. They did, and then he did. Next one to Raleigh, that's down. And with that ball on a slider, it's a full count, 3-2.
So he threw Julio Rodriguez a 1-0 slider, threw Cal Raleigh a 1-0 slider. Cal Raleigh has to have in the back of his mind a 3-2 pitch, 8th pitch of the game, to be a slider as well.
Early drama, 3-2, nobody out. Rodriguez off second, and Raleigh hooks one foul. He was all over a slider, and he pulled it foul on the first base side.
In that meeting that the Seattle Mariners had and how to approach Shane Bieber, I wish I would have been a fly on the wall, because most likely they're looking for that pitch, and they will sell out for that pitch, even in fastball counts.
Bieber, of course, came over from the Guardians, literally still recovering from Tommy John surgery. But he hasn't made a ton of starts. And none bigger than this one. The 3-2 on the way. Raleigh swings and he tips it into the mitt. A strikeout to Raleigh as he went with the high heater.
He had his opportunity with the slider. He fouled that one off, and then he goes high fastball, effective fastball, landing it for a strike.
So we'll see if the move by Dan Wilson pays off. He's got Naylor now into the 3-hole, and he's been terrific in the postseason. First pitch to him is just a little bit above the letters, ball 1, another fastball.
And they moved him to third just to get another at bat. That's how well he is swinging the bat these days.
344 in the postseason. He's gone the other way a handful of times, which is why Clement is a lot closer to the third base line than he has been. And Bieber looks Rodriguez back. Pre-game meeting, you got the sense with Robles in the game and a little more speed, Mariners may be inclined to try to be a little more aggressive on the bases. It's a 1-0 with Julio Rodriguez dancing around second. This pitch is fouled towards the dugout on the first base side. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Robles makes them a slightly better defensive team also, which is crucial in the Game 7, especially when you're playing against an elite defense like Toronto's.
That's the first cutter that he throws in the game, and it was to Josh Naylor. A good one right into the hands.
Feels like the Mariners, after last night's opportunities lost, that they really would benefit from bringing in this leadoff double just to feel good about their ability to score a run.
They made 3 errors in a game last night for the first time this year, and 3 inning-ending grounded into double plays. First time any team's done that in the postseason since 2005.
Naylor is the Canadian native, Mississauga, about 30 minutes from Toronto. So many friends here to watch. And he takes one outside. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Seems like he's wearing the shoes that are just shiny. That's got like bedazzling or Swarovskis on them. They are as shiny as can be.
Do you know what a Swarovski is, Tim?
Absolutely not.
But you remember John Swarovski.
Of course.
Here's the next one on the way to Raleigh. He takes another one high. It's 3-1. Swarovski John was the man that helped teach everyone at ESPN to ask the right questions in the right way.
Lean neutral in the form of a question.
There you go. Julio Rodriguez leadoff double. There's 1 out and a big one, 3-1. And that ball's on the ground. Flat! It's under his glove on a dive. Here comes Julio. Barger's throw home, not in time. And Naylor does it again. A single to right underneath a diving Guerrero. 1-0 Mariners.
And Josh Naylor rewards Dan Wilson and his coaching staff for having made the change in the lineup. They put him in the 3 spot. Gets it right by a diving Vladimir Guerrero and is able to drive in Julio Rodriguez, even with the good arm of Addison Barger in right field.
That felt like one of those plays. The way Vlad's been playing, he could have made it. Polanco looks at strike 1 from Bieber, a fastball at 93.
The ball hit his first baseman's mitt, but he could not keep it from going out of the infield, allowing that run to score.
So Seattle breaks through early here in Game 7, leading at 1-0 in the 0-1 to Polanco. And that one is outside to the left-handed hitting designated hitter, who has played a bunch at DH this year. He's also been a very, very solid second baseman. The Beavers 1-1 on the way. That missed away. It's 2 balls and a strike. And Shane, a little rusty here early in this one. Similar to what we saw in his Game 3 start.
Yeah, Eduardo thinks that Polanco's better when he plays in the field. And stats prove it. When he plays in the field, his average is .299. When he's a DH, it's .248. And the OPS is about 100 points apart.
Naylor is a big guy. In fact, he and Vlad out there look like 2 middle linebackers, but he's a good base runner. The next pitch from Bieber, and that's in there for a strike. A changeup that stayed up. The count evens up at 2-2.
He's thrown every pitch in the book this inning. That was an effective changeup.
And a high strike call from Quinn Walcott. Can Bieber get the ground ball double play? He's at the belt on a 2-2. Naylor leading off first. The Mariners ahead 1-0. And Bieber takes his time, now fires, and that one missed. It's another 3-2 count.
So Naylor 30 for 32 in stolen bases this year. 19 for 19 with the Mariners. It doesn't run very well, but he sure has a pretty good look on when to go and when not to.
You got a whole bunch of bullpen arms available for both teams tonight, as Bieber laboring a little here in the first. The 20th pitch of the inning will not be made. He will go to first, and Naylor slides back safely with his hand. Remember, for a while here in this postseason, Jorge Polanco was the guy, nicknamed Mr. October. He has slowed down considerably. 3-2 on the way. Swings and hits it on the ground. Fielded by the third baseman. And he threw it right off of Naylor. He got the force out at second, but in Ernie Clement's effort to throw to first, he hit Josh Naylor. Schneider is coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. They will also discuss it with Ben May. Naylor stood right in the baseline and, in fact, turned his head and jumped in the air, and the throw hit off his helmet.
That's the hockey mentality of Josh Naylor right there, who wears the hockey jersey. Turned around and hit him right in the helmet. That would have been a special 5 unassisted 3 double play.
That would have been unique, to say the least.
Well, this is a unique play here where Naylor didn't do anything to get out of the way of the throw, and in fact, you could certainly make the case did everything he could to get in the way of the throw by jumping.
But it was a no-look jump.
Well,
that's the thing. I mean, he was turned completely towards first base when he jumped, and all the umpires are still gathered between second base and the pitcher's mound.
And John Schneider is about 10 feet away from him. Eddie, he's not going to jump up looking at the baseball. He's going to jump up and turn his back so he doesn't get hurt.
But he jumped anticipating the throw before it was even released from the hands of Ernie Clement. This is a fascinating call right here.
Right. He doesn't have to slide or get out of the way. What they're asking is, did he jump in the air in order to intentionally get hit on this ball?
When he jumped, Ernie Clement still had the ball in his hand. It's actually a very smart play. It was going to be a double play. Might as well have this discussion and have it turn on you.
Ernie Clement was in a shift against the left-handed hitting Polanco. The umpires have broken up, and this may be one that they call him out. They called Polanco out at first base, and that's going to bring Dan Wilson out, as they've determined that Naylor jumped with the intent of blocking the baseball on the throw from the third baseman Clement, who was in the shift, grabbed it, stepped on the bag, and hit Naylor. A wild play.
And this is going to be talked about for years, this play right here by Naylor. It was smart running into it. It was going to be an automatic double play. He turns his head, and I just thought the IQ right there from Josh Naylor showed up big time.
Well, it was going to be a double play if he doesn't get in the way. He tried, and it seems to have backfired. Wilson's out there still talking to the umps. Will take her timeout. Middle of the first inning. Seattle did get a run. Julio Rodriguez, he was knocked in by Naylor, and it is 1-0.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems and missed messages cost you opportunities. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication, helps teams collaborate seamlessly, and respond to customers 24/7 with their AI agent. Join over 90,000 businesses using Quo. Try it free, then get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/ESPN, quo.com/ESPN. They'll even port your existing numbers for free. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HIGHLIGHTS. That's promo code HIGHLIGHTS. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Coach Saban here, and let me tell you, every second matters. Preparation is everything, and that's why I trust Kidde Smoke Alarms.
And as North America's #1 home fire safety brand, they're built to respond over 25% faster to smoke detection. Kidde helps protect what matters the most. Find it at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. #1 claim based on total household installations as of December 2023. 29% faster average smoke detection based on internal testing of smoldering wood fires for Kidde 9th edition versus leading competitor 8th edition products.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Back with Tim Kirk and Eduardo Perez. Quick check of the rules, 6.01. And then number 5 there says, any batter or runner who has just been put out or any runner who has just scored hinders or impedes any following play being made on a runner. Such runner shall be declared out for the interference of his teammate. That implies more so that Naylor was out, and then they call Polanco out at first. Is that the rule that's applying here?
That's the rule. Okay. And again, you can't run into second, jump up straight in the air with your hands in the air, deflect the ball. That's what the umpires call.
George Springer leads things off, bottom 1 for the Blue Jays. They trail 1-0, and the first pitch from Kirby is high and tight, and that's where they've lived on George Springer. It's 1-0.
And I love it because Kirby is a strike guy. You have to establish inside to make everything else effective.
And he did not pitch inside in his last start in this series, and he did not make anyone uncomfortable.
1-0, another one in tight. 2 balls, no strikes. The crowd doesn't like it, but Springer, who is dealing with a badly banged up right knee, is now ahead 2-0. He hit a homer off Kirby in Game 3. Looking to get on here. Here's the next one. Swings and fouls it straight back, and that time that knee held. Last night we saw him swing hard and literally collapse on the back knee. That time a little wobble, but he stayed standing, and it's 2-1. Kirby, the righty, ready to Springer on the way, and another foul ball, and both of them on the first base side.
Remember those 2 first pitches of the game. I think that is he's sending a message, a statement right then and there. He has confidence now in being able to go in there, knowing if he's able to get Springer out here, it could really excel him big time.
Here's the 2-2, and that one misses. Down 3 balls, 2 strikes. A slider from George Kirby. In Game 3, Kirby went 4 innings. He gave up 8 runs, including 2 home runs, one of them to this guy. And it's a 3-2 pitch to the leadoff man, Springer. That's outside. Springer draws the walk. And for a strike thrower,
While the first two pitches may have been purpose pitches, it backfires and Springer's aboard.
It does backfire in a big way. I said before the game, and I've said it all day, they need to be able to get Springer and Lucas on base to have Vladdy have an opportunity to create damage.
Here is Nathan Lucas. He's having a terrific postseason, overshadowed by Guerrero, but hitting .345. The first pitch to him, that's off, 1-0. A pitch outside. It was a sinker at 98.
One of the Mariners told me before the game he has to throw a first pitch strike, but in this postseason, he's only thrown 33 first pitch strikes at a 64, and this is a strike-throwing machine.
And it's a strike-hitting team. It's 1-0 to Lucas. Bats from the left side on the way. That one is in there for a strike at the letters, and that had some pepper on it at 99 miles an hour.
Don't tell me he's crafty.
His average fastball velocity is 96. He threw that one 99.
1 ball, 1 strike. Springer off first. Nobody out, and the Blue Jays down 1-0. Lucas, end of the bat, left field. Arozarena right at the line. He's there to make the play, and Springer will retreat. There is one down on a Lucas fly out to left, and here comes Vlad Guerrero. Putting up some historical numbers along the lines of Barry Bonds and David Ortiz and other Carlos Beltran type seasons.
OPS of 1.532 in this postseason.
He has hit everything hard. Here's the first pitch to Vlad. He looks at one on the inside corner, then he looks back to the home plate umpire. It's called a strike at 99.
Yeah, he's letting it all out, and that's Kirby. He knows why try to keep it for the 6th, 7th inning. Give me all you have for at least 3 to 4 innings.
Guerrero ready, so is Kirby. Springer leads. Here's the pitch. That's another good one. A sinker at 98, and Vlad Guerrero is behind 0-2.
And that first pitch was in, and it was a strike, which is exactly what he's trying to do, and then he goes away with a slider.
Guerrero's hit 6 home runs in the postseason, tying a Blue Jays franchise record. 0-2. Will he expand? And Guerrero hard into left field on the ground. He threw him a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and Vlad Guerrero is on everything. His 19th hit of the postseason in 40 at-bats.
Yeah, he's lucky there. He throws a fastball at 98 miles per hour, 99, right down the middle. He lucked out. Vladdy is allowing the ball to get deep. Most likely surprised to see the heater right down the middle, and he's pumping up Alejandro Kirk. He's coming to the plate.
Cal Raleigh went out to give the defensive signals to his infield, which features Suarez at third, Crawford at short, Leo Rivas at second, and Naylor at first. Alejandro Kirk has been circled by many as the guy that has to deliver for the Blue Jays. He hits after Guerrero. He's got 2 men on, 1 down. And he takes ball 1. It gets away from Raleigh, but Springer and his knee unable to advance. I don't know, a healthy Springer? Do you think he goes there?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I don't think so. I think he hesitated that bit. Wasn't much of the knee, but the slider, that's a ball that Cal Raleigh has to catch. Cleanly. Ball did not hit the dirt, hit the heel of his mitt.
He's going out there to talk to his longtime teammate and very good friend Kirby on the mound.
And again, Cal Raleigh is really good when he goes to the mound. He knows the right thing to say to each pitcher. And here he's telling them, we got this guy. Let's put him in the grass and get out of here.
Kirk is a unique hitter, nicknamed the Cannonball by this crew. He's stocky, strong, can certainly hit a ball over the wall. He is a terrific catcher. Gold Glove finalist behind the plate. And in a lineup that's got Guerrero, your number 4 hitter is asked to do a great deal. Kirby is done with his meeting. He is now ready. Alejandro Kirk digs in, 1-0. Here it comes. And he takes one down. It's 2 balls and no strikes with a slider.
That looked pretty good pitch down by the knees. Remember, Kirk, small guy. I thought it caught the bottom of the plate.
Springer leads off second, Guerrero off first. Ground ball can get him out of the inning with a double play. 2-0 pitch from Kirby on the way. Kirk takes that one, and it is right where the other one was, maybe a half an inch up at 98. It's 2-1. John Schneider anticipated a big night from this guy, Alejandro Kirk. 2-1 with one out on the way. He takes inside, and it's 3-1. And different George Kirby tonight. He is certainly not afraid to come in on the right-handed hitters.
And you wonder now if it's because he's amped up, he's throwing a little bit harder, he's leaving it all out right now on these guys, sacrificing a little bit of location for velo.
See how Springer can run if Kirk can put it in the outfield. 3-2 on that one. He took a four-seam fastball on the outside corner. And Kirby right back in it.
It's a good take by Kirk. You're not looking for that pitch on the outside corner. It had some little arm side run to get the outside strike zone.
Payoff pitch with one out and two on from the tall right-hander. Here it comes. Kirby swings, fouls it first base side. Giving a look is Naylor, and it is about 5 rows deep.
He's throwing that sinker with good velo. The problem is when you do throw a heavy sinker like that, you want it to have good late action, and it's not having that. They're popping those pitches up instead of fouling them into the ground.
We're looking at one of the great strike throwers in the major leagues. He doesn't walk many at all. It's a 3-2 count on the way to Kirk. And he fouls another one straight back.
And he's one of these guys who really believes nobody can hit my stuff. Yeah. I don't have to go out of the strike zone. I can beat you in the strike zone while throwing strikes. They want him to be a little effectively wild, and he's kind of been that way in this inning.
Another elimination game for him. He's pitched in the last 3 for Seattle, including 2 starts. Here's the one to Kirk. Fouled off, caught by Raleigh. He's gone. A fastball at 98, and Kirk strikes out, and there's 2 away.
Well, an excellent pitch. He had to come back with fastballs for strikes, and he was able to throw 4 of them until he was able to get the foul tip into the mitt.
Yeah, there is a empty the tank feel to Kirby's approach tonight and his velocity to go with his adrenaline. So many of his pitches, 98, 99. And in steps Dalton Varsho with 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Left-handed hitting center fielder is ready. Here it comes. And he swings awkwardly at a slider. It's 0-1. Nothing about the swing looked comfortable there.
Well, he's cheating up because that's where they've been pitching him. Trying to catch up to a high heater, and instead gets a breaking pitch.
Son of a former major leaguer, Gary Varsho. Dalton on the 0-1. Swings this one up the middle into center field. Springer's going to be waved. It is picked up by Rodriguez. No throw. RBI Dalton Varsho to tie the game at 1. A clutch hit by the 5th hitter in the lineup sends Guerrero to third. Men are on the corners. A big 2-out hit for Varsho.
Threw a slider, wanted a little bit lower, instead stayed up, and he was able to hit it right back up the middle past the diving Leo at second base.
He missed by inches keeping that ball in the infield also.
And here comes Ernie Clement, who, like Vladimir Guerrero, has had a breakout postseason. 17 hits. Kirby hears it from the crowd. His first pitch, Clement swung on and missed. 98 up, 0-1.
17 hits and 2 strikeouts for Ernie Clement. He jumps that first pitch. He loves it. Swings and misses there.
This is a classic matchup of a strike thrower and a really good strike hitter. Here it comes, Clement, and that's a foul ball. He went with a knuckle curve, and Ernie Clement was a mile out in front of it. So it is 0-2 with 2 down. Guerrero's at third. Varsho is at first. The Blue Jays have answered the Mariners' run. What will Kirby do? 0-2.
Here it comes. Varsho's off and running. Clement smacks one to center field, but Julio Rodriguez backs up and just shy of the track makes the play. He turned around a fastball, gave it a good ride, but the play made out in center. And by the way, Ernie Clement, as he was at first base, just grabbed Josh Naylor, apologizing. Naylor, of course, the other way around said, hey, I didn't mean to get in the way. They were guardians for years and are very close friends. So that was a weird play to begin with between a couple of buddies. We're at the end of one inning of play, guys. It is 1-1. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch, and Prize Pick is making sports season even more fun. On Prize Picks, whether you're a football fan, a basketball fan, or a fan of both like me, it always feels good to be right. On Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app.
Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OT to get $50 instantly in site credits after you play your first $5. That's code OT to get $50 in site credits after you play your first $5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
8 years ago, I blew my football career.
He dropped it at the 1 yard line.
Chad Powers has arrived on Hulu. If I can't play as Russ, I'll play as someone else.
My name's Chad. And last name?
From executive producers Eli and Peyton Manning.
Remember, you're wearing a prosthetic mask? This is acting.
And starring Glenn Powell.
He thinks you're a rubber Chitole. Not rubber. I'm a man made of flesh.
The Hulu original series, Chad Powers, is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. New episodes Tuesdays.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
We go inning number 2 of Game 7, American League Championship Series. A fascinating note from our good friend Sarah Langs earlier today. In the years in which the League Championship Series have been played best of 7, there have been, I think, 4 examples, guys, where one league swept, the other league went to a Game 7. And when the two teams met in the World Series, the team that came out of the league that played the 7 games won every one of those World Series.
It just shows you when you get too much rest at the end of October, it might not be good.
Randy Arozarena in there. Here's Bieber, and he throws a first pitch strike. Now remember, Bieber in Game 3, after going into his dugout and saying, I got my A stuff, struck out the side. The next pitch to Arozarena is down. It is 1 ball, 1 strike. So he ended up in that game in which he was trailing 2-0, going 6 innings and striking out 8. That was a close one just below the knees. Bieber wanted it, but it's 2-1.
Then after he struck out the side, the Blue Jays went on and scored 5 runs in the 3rd inning and broke the game open.
Arozarena ready, struggling this postseason, swings and fouls one off the screen, heads up, came back right towards home plate.
And he struggled career-wise against Shane Bieber, 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts. That includes this postseason.
The 2-2 on the way from the righty. Swung on the ground to short, underneath the glove of Jimenez. Boy, how many ground balls have we seen just either out of or under a defender? That's the 3rd one so far.
And just out of the top of the 2nd inning. Amazing.
And, you know, it's interesting because the thought process now is get the ball in the air. And that's a ball that Jimenez could have made, but I don't think he would have been able to get Arozarena at first base with his speed.
Now Arozarena's 9th hit of the postseason. Leadoff man is aboard again. Here is Eugenio Suarez. First pitch he takes above the letters. Bieber feels like this is a tight strike zone. He looked at one against Arozarena, called the ball, and he stared in after that one.
I think he was more disappointed in the action of the slider than the call.
It's 1-0. Suarez, 3 homers, including 2 in a game, including the granny. This one is in the center. It's going to get down. He came in on him with a slider, and just like that, the Mariners have 2 on. And you have to wonder how long before we see some movement in that Toronto bullpen.
Yeah, it's another slider that he threw, and this one just tumbled. Usually, you see the little dot, both on the curveball and on the slider. It's more like a circle right now, not as tight as it was in Seattle when he faced them in Game 2.
A game that has no margin for error. The Mariners have a threat going here in the second. 2 on for J.P. Crawford. He will square to bunt, lay down a good one. Bieber will grab it. He will throw to first for the out. Clement had vacated third base just in case it got by Bieber. There was no play at third. And they get the out at first, but Crawford does his job and moves them up.
I'll tell you this, though. If Clement goes to third base, you got an easy force at third, even with the speed of a Rosarena. He hit this one off the barrel of the bat, and Clement just went too early.
Now it's the bottom of the order that has to come through for Seattle. This is Leo Rivas, who rang one off the wall in right in last night's game, and he looks at a called strike, a fastball at the letters, 0-1.
Infield in at the corners, back in the middle. Eddie, is this the right defense here, second and third, second inning?
Yeah, this is. You don't want to play in right now. Tie game in the second inning.
Bieber needs a strikeout. Rivas needs to make contact. Here it comes. He swings and fouls it back, and now on a changeup, he's behind 0-2. Between Leo Rivas and Victor Robles, who's up next, they are combined 5 for 39. The soft part of this Mariner batting order, and Rivas will call timeout.
So the Mariners have struck out now 63 times in this series. The Blue Jays have struck out 35 times.
Yeah.
And this is a strikeout situation. Bieber needs one here.
It's a 1-1 game. We're in the top of the second. Seattle's got runners at second and third. There's one out, and the 0-2 to Rivas. Swing and a miss. A good slider at 86 underneath the bat. And there are 2 down, and Bieber picks up a big punch-out.
And this is where a ball in play is so important. Chris Bassett of the Blue Jays was telling me before the game, balls in play. Put a ball in play. The average is 300. Put it in play. We hate to strike out. The Mariners are much more of a swing and miss team.
That's the best slider he's thrown all game.
Yeah, not close even. That was a great pitch, and the swing from Rivas missed it by a bunch. And now Robles, who we haven't seen in a few games, looks at the first one, a bounder back to Bieber. He will go to first, and Shane Bieber is all fired up after he gets the runner, Robles.
Shane Bieber took care of business in that inning. After allowing the first 2 hits, it was a sac bunt. Rivas could not do it with a nasty slider, and right there fielding his position not once but twice. Shane Bieber survives the second.
Well, he didn't strike out the side, but that was miraculous that he got out of that and came out screaming.
First and second, nobody out. Second and third, 1 out, and he gets through it. We're in the middle of the second inning. Seattle 1, Toronto 1. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems and missed messages cost you opportunities. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication, helps teams collaborate seamlessly, and respond to customers 24/7 with their AI agent. Join over 90,000 businesses using Quo. Try it free, then get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/ESPN, QUO.com/ESPN. They'll even port your existing numbers for free. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Welcome back to Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. It's presented by Loan Depot with Tim Kirkshin, Eduardo Perez. I'm Carl Ravitch. So Julio Rodriguez leads things off with a double, and then he is brought in on a Naylor RBI. Second inning, Arozarena leads off with a single. Suarez then moves him up with his single of his own, and they do not score. Meantime, George Springer led things off with a walk, and he was eventually brought in on a Dalton Varsho RBI. As a result, we are 1-1 in a winner-take-all Game 7 to see who gets to face the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series, which will start on Friday. So a few days off between this one and the World Series. Addison Barger digs in. First pitch to him. Down from George Kirby. 1-0.
Barger, of course, grew up a big Mariners fan, and now he's trying to keep the Mariners from going to the World Series for the first time.
Blue Jays win. They host. Mariners win. L.A. will open the World Series. Barger looks at a good pitch. A slider on the corner at 88. Fascinating approach that Barger has. He acknowledges, my goal is to swing as hard as I humanly can every time. 1-1, does so there, and it's a foul just by a few feet on the first base side. He hit that hard, too. It was by Naylor in a hurry.
Yeah, and one thing that Addison Barger has done, he's gotten away from the plate. He was right on the plate back foot. Now he's a couple inches off the plate because they've been pounding him in, and now he's been able to clear his hips and the bat head through the zone. That makes a huge difference. We saw it yesterday, and we just saw it on that pitch right there.
Wonder who made that suggestion.
I'm going to give the credit all to their hitting coach, Mr. Popkins.
Andy Popkins has been a game changer for them offensively. 1-2, nobody out. Here comes Kirby's pitch. Barger takes it, and it misses off the plate. A slider that hung outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. He and his buddy Davis Schneider, another outfielder, hang around all the time, and they're out taking early BP all the time. 2-2, off speed, beating up the middle. A 2-hopper for J.P. Crawford, who threw it low. A nice scoop by Josh Naylor, as Crawford had all the time in the world and threw one in the dirt to Naylor.
And those are the tough ones because he dropped his elbow, so it's not like it's a true four-seamer going towards first base. So nice play by Josh Naylor right there on the pick.
Mariners are a little shaky with the 3 errors last night, and that could have been a lot easier for Naylor over there at first. 1 down, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the second baseman, hits from the right side, and that is ball 1, a four-seam fastball away. We have circled the big out that Bieber got to end that inning and prevent any runs from coming in. The 1-0 from Kirby to Kiner-Falefa. Swung on, a liner, and it's caught by Naylor at first base. You have 2 very good defensive first basemen in this game in Naylor and Vlad Guerrero. That one was about 3 feet to his right. And as a left-handed first baseman, it was a pretty easy play.
He was really shaded that way.
So Kirby's got 2 down in the bottom of the second of a 1-1 ball game. And that brings up Andres Jimenez, the shortstop. He swings at the first pitch. This is in the hole. Crawford backhand throws way offline. Jimenez will beat it. And with 2 outs, he is aboard. That's going to be an infield single for Andres Jimenez.
And another first pitch hit for the Blue Jays in this series. They have made a living out of that. They're so aggressive on that first pitch, and yet they fight you on any deep count also.
Yeah, Crawford was set up mostly up the middle. Ball didn't even exceed the 70-mile-per-hour range on contact.
So with 2 outs, George Springer back up for the second time. Walked his first one as they pitched him high and tight. Here's this pitch from Kirby. Another one that's up a little bit, not too far in, but it's a ball. 1-0.
Kirby 4 for 11 with a homer lifetime off of Kirby. Walked and scored his first time up.
Good numbers for Springer. Jimenez leads off first. Kirby's at the belt, and he comes home. And that's another one. They keep brushing Springer off the plate, but it's too far in. He fell behind 2-0 in the first plate appearance. He ended up walking him. And it's the same 2-0 count here.
Jimenez dancing around first with Naylor. Here's the 2-0. Springer swings and a ground ball to third. Suarez up with it. He throws across the diamond and Springer is retired. So a single for Andres Jimenez. Both teams have had runners on in both of the first 2 innings. At the end of 2 innings of play, it's Toronto 1 and Seattle 1. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HIGHLIGHTS. That's promo code HIGHLIGHTS. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Anyone who loves playing baseball or softball knows that one of the first steps in that journey is breaking in your first glove. It's where your love of the game began. Where does your child's baseball or softball journey begin? Go to playball.org to get started. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Bieber back on the mound. Julio Rodriguez about to come to the plate. Before that, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. You know, postseason that was highlighted by the amazing performance of Shohei Ohtani, both on the mound and at the plate, in which he had his 3-homer game. These teams littered with superstars as well, and a lot of people that you talk to today around the park suggest these are the games in which the superstars generally shine and need to if you want your team to win.
Well, this is how you sell baseball, is when the best players are at their best in the biggest games. And that has been something that's happened continuously in this postseason.
2 of those superstars about to come to the plate for Seattle, Julio Rodriguez and then Cal Raleigh. We are in Toronto. The roof is closed here at the Rogers Center, and the first pitch to Julio swung on and fouled right off of his left foot. 0-1.
All that protection. Shin guard on, always misses above or under the shin guard. Been there, done that.
He's kind of loosening that left foot of his. The trainer and Dan Wilson have both taken a few steps out of the dugout. And we'll see if Julio kind of waves them back or he wants to get some more attention. He's got to take the attention. He and the trainer are meeting at home plate. Now Wilson has joined the conversation.
Yeah, right above it. You just have to let it settle down a little bit. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes. The best remedy is to get back in there, get a base hit. Once you get to first base, you're like, okay, it doesn't hurt as much.
We were told the other day that Julio Rodriguez has 16 different pairs of baseball spikes in his locker. The other night he wore 2 different pairs of shoes in the game. And these, we're told from his Adidas guy, Charlie Stobbs, are his hitting shoes, and doubled in his first at-bat.
Why wouldn't he wear his hitting shoes to every game? Here's the next one to Julio. He swings and misses at that one on a changeup, and a little awkward landing after that swing as he continues to limp around home plate. Now he will ask for time. I mean, it would only stand to reason if you had, quote, hitting shoes, you'd wear them every game you're going to try to hit. We're in the third, the 0-2. Rodriguez will try to check. They'll go to first. No swing on a close pitch. Our first base umpire, Doug Eddings, said no, so it is a ball and 2 strikes. That was close.
No, he didn't go on the replay.
So it's 1-2 with nobody out in the third of a 1-1 game, and that's down, and now it is 2-2. Got to be so strong to be able to hold that from becoming a swing, and this guy is just that. Julio Rodriguez, 2-2. Bieber in the third. Here it comes. Swung on, grounder to third base. Fair. Clement, no foul ball, says our third base umpire. A late raise of the arms by Alfonso Marquez, but a foul ball, and Julio, he's going to have to slow walk it with that ankle that's hurting him all the way back to home to do it again.
Yeah, hit him right above the shin guard, so he's going to take his time. The clock will not start until he gets in the dirt area, and the umpire thinks it's time to do it. He'll signal up to the person in charge of the timer. Has yet to do it.
Giving Julio the benefit of the doubt. And now he's back in. And the clock has started. He's 6'3", 210. Covers a ton of ground out in center field. The next one to Julio, and another foul ball third base side.
Well, he's thrown him all 3 pitches. The fastball, the changeup. 3 sliders already. Only pitch he hasn't thrown is the cutter. He's thrown the knuckle curve on that last one.
Good battle here. This is the 39th pitch of the game for Bieber. Another 2-2. And Julio rips one to left center field. Did he get it all? Oh, boy, did he ever. It's about 15 rows deep left center field. And I tell you, the ankle feels good. 2-1 now, Seattle.
The silence is real as a lot of people here are standing up in shock. Julio Rodriguez already 2 home runs off Shane Bieber in this postseason, in this ALCS. And this was a pitch that stayed up, a slider, 85 miles per hour, up in the zone.
That was crushed.
The slider isn't the same that we saw in Seattle.
That's why you wonder when you're going to start to see some bullpen activity. 423 feet. Here's Cal Raleigh. Swings at the first one, grounds it. Vlad vacates first. Bieber's quickly over there. And there is one man down as Julio's got the trident now parading through the Mariners dugout. I mean, this was just smashed.
Hit a 2-run homer off Bieber in the first inning of Game 3, and now a bases empty homer in the third inning of Game 7.
And the Stars, we just talked about it, have to shine. Julio Rodriguez has a double and a homer, and he has scored both runs for the Mariners. And now Josh Naylor, another hot hitter for Seattle. Swings at the first one, hooks it into right. It is holding up there for Barger to make the play. Naylor was all over the first pitch, but it is a line out to right.
After an 8-pitch, a 7-pitch at bat from Julio Rodriguez, the next 2 hitters, 2 pitches, 2 outs.
I think it's a fair assessment to look at Bieber and say this is his B stuff, if not C stuff. And he's trying to get through the second inning. He gets Polanco now. First pitch to Jorge. That's down 1-0 on a knuckle curve. And speaking with him during the week, he would say that as he recovers from Tommy John surgery. The 1-0. Bounced up there 2-0. Some days the arm feels great. Other days it doesn't. You don't know what your arm's going to feel like, right?
Most pitchers will tell you it takes 2 years to truly recover from Tommy John.
2-0. 2-1 as he nails the changeup. It's a 2-1 Seattle lead. The 2-1 pitch. Foul on the first base side. 2-2 with 2 down.
You've said that maybe 4 or 5 times already on Jorge Polanco in the last 3 games. Foul to the left side, to the pull side. Just rolling over, not being able to feel balanced at the plate.
Bieber's 46th pitch. That's way outside on a changeup. It's 3-2. Here it comes from Bieber, 3-2. Another one that's foul just over the dugout. So what does that mean, Eduardo?
Too much top hand. He's cutting off his swing. And because of it, he's not using that bottom hand as well. Continues to roll over.
45,000 in the lower bowl. They are all on their feet trying to help Bieber get through it. The 3-2. Right back up the middle, and another dive by Jimenez. Another one that gets in to center field. Shane Bieber's getting hit around here for the Seattle Mariners. Another hit. This one with 2 strikes and 2 outs.
It's the knuckle curve. He went with it, and he kept it out over the plate. And he did a favor to Polanco, was able to hit it again on the ground, base hit. Add that one to the list.
Mariners here in the third have 6 hits in the game. Here's Randy Arozarena. And Bieber's first pitch to him. Big swing and a miss. That's a fastball at 93. It's 0-1. Randy's no stranger to postseason fame. He was outstanding for the Rays in 2020. It's 0-1. Here it comes. And that's way high. The misses from Bieber have not been very competitive, and that was another example of it as the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the Mariners have swung 25 times, and they've only swung and missed 4.
Telling stat. 1-1 with 2 down. And that is in there for a strike. He went with a slider. Kind of hung up there, but Randy didn't offer, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Polanco will lead off first. The 1-2 with 2 down to Arozarena on the way. No, that's missing way down. A slider that he wouldn't offer at.
Polanco not a speedster, but if there's a time to go, this is the pitch. If you get him out at second, you have Randy Arozarena, who typically is their leadoff hitter.
2-2 with 2 down. He grabs a lead. At first, not going. Here it comes. Arozarena chased one, and he's gone on strikes. A slider in the dirt.
But it's Julio. And Julio Rodriguez, All-Star this year, decided to take the All-Star game off to be able to have a strong second half of the season. And boys, it paid off for the Seattle Mariners. Julio Rodriguez gives them the lead once again.
We're in the middle of the third inning. It's a 2-1 game in favor of Seattle. It'll be 2-3-4. That means Vlad's coming up when we come back. You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch, and Prize Pick is making sports season even more fun. On Prize Picks, whether you're a football fan, a basketball fan, or a fan of both like me, it always feels good to be right. On Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app.
Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OT to get $50 instantly in site credits after you play your first $5. That's code OT to get $50 in site credits after you play your first $5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems and missed messages cost you opportunities. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication, helps teams collaborate seamlessly, and respond to customers 24/7 with their AI agent. Join over 90,000 businesses using Quo. Try it free, then get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/ESPN, quo.com/ESPN. They'll even port your existing numbers for free. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
We're talking about the Colts being in the driver's seat to win their division and having an opportunity to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. Why would I think that team is not capable of being able to make a run to the Super Bowl? The only reason why would be the name on the back of the quarterback's jersey, and I would caution folks because this is a different version of Daniel Jones than what you've seen in the past.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
With Eddie and Tim, Carl Ravitch here. Kirby back on the mound. The seesaw has swung back in the favor of Seattle thanks to a Julio Rodriguez solo shot. 2-1 is our score. We go bottom 3. And it'll be 2, 3, and 4. Nathan Lucas telling me a story about his folks. It's like, we're in the League Championship Series. Mom and Dad should come to the games. And they're like, yeah, we're going to just kind of watch this one at home. And they're from the Pacific Northwest, so they went to a few of the games in Seattle. I said, are they here today? And this is Game 7. He said, no. They're at home watching. He's like, I'm 31. Who knows if we ever get this chance again?
Right. 10 years in the minor leagues.
So Lucas will lead off, trailing by a run. First pitch, Kirby. That's high and away, 1-0.
Kirby's had trouble with the guys leading off an inning in this postseason. On-base percentage, .376 coming into this game.
Vladimir Guerrero on deck. The 1-0. Inside 2-0, and another one that Raleigh had pop in and out of his glove.
Funny you say that, Tim, because you could say the same thing with Shane Bieber, who has not been able to get the leadoff hitter out so far in the first 3 innings.
Kirby is rocking. He's firing 2-0. That's in there. A good fastball. He's got some velocity working. That's 97, top of the zone.
And it's a must-get-out guy in Nathan Lucas at the plate if you're Kirby, especially with Vladdy on deck.
He's ready, 2-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. Lucas went for the downs there. 97 was by him, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Don't forget, Kirby had 2 starts this year with no walks and 14 strikeouts. When he is right, he is a nightmare.
Well, here's the 2-2 to Lucas. He swings and fouls it off third base side.
Well, we just had a drop ball by a fan. Hit him right between the hands, and he just dropped it into the lower level.
This is Game 7. Seattle leads it 2-1. They've got a run on the first and third. Here's the 2-2. Lucas foul back off the screen. Brian Wu is available tonight. Bryce Miller is available. Andres Munoz hasn't pitched in a while. He could give you 2 innings. All arms available for Dan Wilson and the Mariners. The 2-2 on the way. Lucas is gone. He was very late on that 88-mile-an-hour slider, and it is a strikeout for Kirby.
One of the Mariners told me before the game the slider is the most important pitch in this game for Kirby, and he threw it beautifully right there for strike 3.
Let's not forget, in the first game when he faced Vladdy, it was all sliders that he threw him, and Vladdy made him pay.
Here's the first pitch to Guerrero. He throws a blooper into right field, and it's a second baseman going out, and it's Rivas who was there. Robles was playing so deep he wasn't going to get it, but it's a fly out on a jam shot to the second baseman Rivas, and a big out of Vlad Guerrero. 2 down in the third.
And he challenged him. Went after him again. All he's done is throw him hard sinkers, and so far so good.
Next up is the catcher, the cleanup hitter, Alejandro Kirk. First pitch to Kirk, swing and a miss. And he's looking a little off with his swings here. That one was missed badly. Up and away, it's 0-1. 5'8", 245 pounds. He loads up on that back leg and just throws everything at it. Kirby working quickly, 0-1. Swing and a foul tip into the mid. It's 0-2 at 98. And he's got purpose about his delivery and how quickly he's working.
This is by far his best inning so far.
The 0-2 to Kirk. And he takes one outside.
He has a similar cadence that Shane Bieber had after the first inning in Seattle.
Yes.
Get the ball, get back in the rubber, get the sign, and go.
2 outs to 1-2. Kirby to Kirk. Swung on liner at the shortstop, and down to a knee goes Crawford, and he makes the play. Alejandro Kirk hit it hard, but a very efficient inning for George Kirby.
Yeah, 12 pitches in, and George Kirby starting that inning off with a strikeout. The best part about it for him, though, he is able to get Vladdy out on one pitch, and it was a dominating sinker at that.
Now 1-2-3 third. End of 3 innings of play in Game 7. Seattle's got a 2-1 lead over Toronto, and this is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
The NBA on ESPN Radio.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder begin the defense of their title on opening night. They go head-to-head against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets.
Durant for 3. Good!
The Rockets at the Thunder. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern, with tip-off at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
I'm Christine Lisi. 3 innings in the books, and the Mariners and Blue Jays involved in a tight one in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, which is something that Seattle manager Dan Wilson told us in our pregame his team would be ready for.
Momentum shifts throughout this entire series, and a Game 7 is going to have several of those. So, you're never out of a game like this, and our guys have fought all season long, and we'll continue to fight 1 through 9. So, on the other hand, there's a lot of baseball to be played after that first third.
Awaiting the winner in the World Series, the Dodgers, with Game 1 set for Friday, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. LA looking to become the first MLB team in a quarter of a century to win back-to-back championships. And a program reminder for you, tomorrow night is opening night in the NBA. Thunder beginning its title defense at home versus Kevin Durant, who just signed that 2-year, $90 million extension in the Rockets. Coverage at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Back to you, Tim Kirchin, Eduardo Perez, and Carl Ravitch.
All right, Christine, thank you very much. It just feels in the intensity of a Game 7. Bieber has been a little bumpy here, and it looks like Kirby is kind of dialing it in. Now they're starting to get a little movement out there in that Toronto Blue Jay bullpen. Bieber will get Suarez, Crawford, and Leo Rivas here in the 4th inning. The Mariners looking to make it to the World Series for the first time in their franchise history. Suarez, power hitter, holds the bat in his shoulder, and the first pitch to him misses in. Ball 1 at 92 miles an hour. It is Louis Varland, the first man up, as Bieber throws another one down and in, 2-0.
He's
good
always the first man up,
he
right?
is. That was a good observation, Eddie. The look at Kirby relative to Bieber in that last game. That's a strike there and a swing from Suarez, where after that first inning there was just a pace that he had and a confidence you could see that Kirby has tonight, and you're wondering if Bieber can find it. 2-1, now 2-2 as he cut on a slider at 84.
And those swings and misses that we saw in Seattle, the sliders were start middle and then go down and away. These are staying up in the zone. Playing with a little fire there.
4th inning, 2-1 Seattle leads, 2-2. Suarez late there. Kind of slider, lazy swing, and he's gone on strikeouts. That's the 4th of the night for Bieber.
And in this at-bat, 2 swings and misses off the slider. One elevated and that one a put-away pitch. Down and away, really good vertical drop as well.
Damage is done by Julio Rodriguez. A double in the first. He later scored on an RBI from Naylor and then a home run in the 3rd. That's how they got there, too, as the first pitch
To J.P. Crawford is up and away, 1-0. Bieber ready again. Here it comes. Crawford takes on the corner. Strike.
Crawford 7 for 14 lifetime off of Bieber, but first at bat got a bunt down, did it pretty well.
1 out, 1-1. We're in the fourth. Here it comes. Kirk thought he was framing a strike. Instead, it's a ball. Down and away a little bit, 2-1. Ernie Clement is off the third base bag. Jimenez up the middle. 2-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. Knuckle curve at 83 to go 2-2.
Second miss on a knuckle curve so far in this game for him.
Louis Varland continues to throw in the bullpen. Bieber comes home 2-2. Crawford stays alive as he fouls it straight back.
So Bieber throws 5 pitches, and each one he throws at least 12% of the time. So you're trying to guess along with a guy who's got 5 different pitches that he throws more than occasionally.
Big challenge to get in the head of a former Cy Young winner who's got 5 weapons. He shakes off one, and now he settles on a pitch. It is 2-2. There's 1 out. Bieber to Crawford. And he takes it. That one was in the dirt, a knuckle curve. It's a full count.
He's got to go after him here. He has to. Crawford, not too much damage against starting pitching this year when it comes to the slug.
He bats 7th. Here it comes. 3-2. That one is laced to left field. Into the corner it goes. And that is a fair ball. Crawford delivers. And trouble out there picking it up is Lucas. How about J.P. Crawford? An opposite field double into the corner with 2 strikes and another hard hit ball against Bieber.
And he went with the fastball, and that's what he's supposed to do. And give credit to J.P. Crawford. Pitch was middle away and just went the other way with it.
1 down, and Crawford off second base. That is the 3rd extra base hit Bieber's given up here with 1 out in the 4th. Rivas looks at the ball off. He's fallen behind 1-0. Marlins throwing gets a little more intense in the Blue Jay pen. They've had a runner on in every inning and a runner in scoring position every inning. That one to Rivas is in there for a strike and knuckle curve. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Bieber is battling tonight, and the Mariners so far have gotten the better of him. They lead it 2-1. The 1-1. Rivas swings and misses on a changeup. 1-2.
Pulled the string on that one. Got the change. Rivas looking for the heater. Great action. Straight change. Not too much drop to it.
Great arm in right field in Addison Barger. Varsho very good in center. Lucas is your left fielder. On a ball to the outfield, Crawford will challenge. He's off second base. There's 1 out. And Bieber is ready with a 1-2. Here it comes to Rivas. Swing and a miss. He got him. A slider right by Leo Rivas. His 2nd strikeout of the game. 5th of the night for Bieber.
Combination of 3 pitches, the changeup, the knuckle curve, and the slider, all against Rivas. With a runner in scoring position, did not go to the number 1.
Victor Robles, he was the last man up in the 2nd, hit a 1-hopper back to Bieber to end a threat. Here's the first pitch to Victor, swing and a miss. Very late on a slider, it's 0-1.
First pitch swing in his first at bat, and here also.
Going to be a little challenging for Robles, who has not been part of the action for a couple of games. The 0-1, and that one just missed off. Kirk's doing a job to frame it and hold it.
And this is the thing, though. You have 2 outs. Ernie Clements is maybe like 5 or 6 steps behind the bag at third base. If you try to lay one down, you got the hottest hitter for them against Bieber on deck.
Robles not thinking about that, but he's also ahead 2-1 as that slider missed.
No, not thinking about it at all, and he won't do it. But in moments like this, when you have a hot hand on deck that can see the ball well off Bieber,
be hard-pressed to think that Bieber's going to see Rodriguez again. 2 down, 2-1. They will throw behind Crawford at second, and there was no play. He was back very quickly.
And that's fine, but I'll still put all my marbles on Rodriguez.
Yeah. Louis Varland, the first man up. It's the Blue Jays bullpen that's active. There are 2 outs, 2-1. Here it comes to Robles, and that was close. Called the ball, and Bieber is barking at our home plate umpire, Quinn Wolcott, who looked out at him and put his hands up like that's down.
That was down. Great eye. Great call.
And Bieber said that's not down to him. 3-1 with 2 outs. Rodriguez on deck. Here it comes. And that misses as well. And Bieber and Quinn Wolcott are not seeing eye to eye. And here comes John Schneider, who is upset with the home plate umpire, and he is not going to let his starting pitcher see Julio Rodriguez for a third time.
Well, 74 pitches in for Shane Bieber. You ready for this? Ready for this,
yes.
Timmy? 26 sliders, 17 changeups, 10 curveballs, 2 cutters, and 19 fastballs.
Well, I told you before the game, one of the Mariners said if he throws 75 pitches, he will not throw 25 fastballs, and he was exactly right.
Well, this call to the bullpen comes at a critical time here in Game 7. There are 2 men out. There are also 2 men on, and Julio Rodriguez has a double and a homer. He is coming up. Seattle's got a 2-1 lead. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HIGHLIGHTS. That's promo code HIGHLIGHTS. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Dodgers await the winner of the American League Championship Series in the World Series, which starts Friday. Quite a bit of time off for the defending champs before the Fall Classic begins against either Seattle or Toronto. So will it hinder or help the Dodgers? ESPN MLB insider Buster Olney.
They're going to have all these starting pitchers incredibly well rested, normal rest plus extra days lined up to go again with Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani, all the relievers that they use, they're going to be fully rested.
Back to you, Carl Ravitch.
Hi, Christine. Thank you. And what a spot here for Louis Varland, who, of course, came over from Minnesota. He has been used a lot. He is a flamethrower. He'll throw a knuckle curve, and he's dealing with the hottest hitter, Julio Rodriguez, tonight. Already a double and a homer. 2 men on, 2-1 Seattle. First pitch, Julio swings and misses. That's a knuckle curve that he throws at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, he might call it a knuckle curve, but that son of a gun cuts like a slider. Nasty.
The 0-1 from Varland, just into the game against Julio, and that one missed off, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Varland, as we know, loves to throw. John Schneider said he threw a 30-minute bullpen today. He was kidding, but You're never quite sure with Louis Varland.
2 men aboard. Seattle up 2-1. We're in the 4th with 2 down and a 1-1 on the way to Julio. Swings and sends it on the ground to third. Fielded by Clement. Sets his feet, and he will fire across the diamond. That's a big out and a good job by Louis Varland, who came in from the pen to extinguish the flames.
Very economical, and they bring him in again in a high leverage situation, and Louis Varland comes through.
They will strand 2 in the inning and get Rodriguez out for the first time. Middle of the 4th inning. Seattle leads Game 7, 2-1 over Toronto. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
ESPN Hockey Night.
Panthers have agreed to a trade with the Bruins to acquire Brad Marchand.
Marchand returns to Boston, not as a friend, but as a foe with another ring.
The Florida Panthers are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Will the Beantown faithful welcome him back?
What a goal by Brad Marchand!
ESPN Hockey Night presented by Honda. Panthers Bruins at 7:30 Eastern. Avalanche Mammoth at 10. Tuesday on ESPN and the ESPN app.
This is Adam Schefter, and on this week's episode, here comes the Chiefs, the story of the season so far, and why there will be a lot of trades in the next few weeks. The Adam Schefter Podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network, so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Toronto Blue Jays, they won the World Series at 92 and 93 as they try to get back there. As Game 7 of the American League Championship Series is presented by Loan Depot. Of course, the Joe Carter, Mitch Williams home run to end that 93 World Series. You don't bring that up around John Kruk or any of the members of that Philly team, but it was just memorable a home run as you've ever seen in Major League Baseball, and there have been a lot of them.
That ball was hit. As soon as it was hit, I said, this game's over. And the second thing I thought was it's going to hit me right in the chest, because that ball was aimed right at me in the auxiliary box in left field. It missed me by about 5 feet.
Tim, what would you have done if you would have caught that ball?
I would, of course, given it to Joe Carter or the Hall of Fame or somebody, because it was one of the most famous home runs in baseball history. It ended the World Series.
Kirby back on the mound. Varsho is up. George's first pitch, and he's throwing that strike. It's in there. 0-1. A slider to get ahead. You said it, Tim, during the break. Kirby looks like he is locked and loaded as he's ready on the 0-1 with nobody out. And that one is just inside. 1-1 to Dalton Varsho. He's got an RBI single. He drove in Springer for the Blue Jays' only run of the game. And Kirby is ready to Varsho. Swing, he was very late. That fastball came in at 96.
And that's where you have to pitch Varsho. That's why it surprised me when they went slider last time. They did him a favor. You got to go with the high heat. Sometimes show him that slider, but in the dirt.
Left-handed hitting center fielder Dalton Varsho. 1 ball, 2 strikes with nobody out. And here it comes. And that just missed up.
And now because he took that pitch up, will they go back to like a down and in breaking pitch?
2-2. Kirby straight on, now turns and fires. And that's pulled foul, first base side.
That was it right there, the slider.
One of the Mariners told me George Kirby likes to pitch angry. He looks angry right now. I think that's when he's at his best.
Well, if he doesn't look angry, at least let the ball look angry on the way in.
Top of the 4th, nobody out, 2-2. Varsho swing and a miss, an angry sinker at 97. And George Kirby picks up his 3rd strikeout. There's 1 down in the bottom of the 4th.
What a difference in body language for Kirby from the first inning to what we have seen since. There's conviction behind each pitch and the strut, the walk around the mound.
Kirby ready to Ernie Clement, who takes one. It goes all the way by Cal Raleigh and goes to the backstop. It's 1-0.
And as we said, he thinks nobody can hit him. Nobody. And that kind of attitude has carried him a long way in this game.
A couple of New Yorkers here in Clement from upstate New York and Kirby from Ryan, New York. The 1-0. That's 2 balls and no strikes. And what a postseason Ernie Clement has had. What a season Ernie Clement has had for the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, he was nearly released
a few years ago. He found his footing, got a lot more playing time, and here's the 2-0. That's in there. It's 2 balls and a strike. I mean, he was DFA'd by the Athletics 3 years ago. Dealt with a hairline fracture in the wrist in August, but just phenomenal bat-to-ball skills. The 2-1. 3 balls and a strike to Clement.
17 for 39 in this postseason. With only 2 strikeouts, he has been a pest of the biggest kind of all the teams they've seen.
1 down, Kirby is ready. We are in the bottom of the 4th. He pitches, Clement pops it up on the infield. He puts his head down, heads to first. But underneath it is Rivas, and the second baseman, an easy pop-out. Kirby starting off the 4th the same way he started off the 3rd, with a strikeout and then a pop-out to second.
Yeah, Ernie Clement swinging at a pitch in the upper quadrant, falling right into Kirby's trap.
Here comes Addison Barger with 2 down. First pitch, that's a strike. He backed off like it was too far inside. '21 homers, 74 RBIs regular season. Barger holds on that one. It's too far in.
They continue to pound them in.
1 ball, 1 strike. Seattle leads 2-1 as we play the bottom of the 4th inning of Game 7. Kirby fires. Barger, big swing and a miss on a slider. Down and into him. The trust, the faith that Dan Wilson has in George Kirby on display tonight, and Kirby is delivering the goods. The 1-2. Inside, 2-2. Cal Raleigh dropped another one. Eddie, what is going on with Cal Raleigh not catching the baseball?
Well, he was trying to frame that one, I think, more than anything. That ball was not a ball in the dirt or anything. The ball ended up halfway to first base.
2 outs, 2-2. George Kirby fires. Barger, a liner. That's going to get by the second baseman, Rivas. That ball was hit very hard off the bat of Barger. Delivers with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Hit 109 miles an hour.
And the fortunate part is that ball stayed in the ballpark because he hit it such on a line. He gets elevation under that. We might have had a tie game with the velocity off the bat.
Now you start to look out to right field. That's where the Mariner bullpen is, elevated off the field, and there's some people moving around. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa back up the middle. Right there is the second baseman, Rivas. He was positioned beautifully, and even though Kiner-Falefa turned it around at a good pace, right into the glove of Rivas. They will leave 1, and they will stay with 1 on the scoreboard. We are through 4 innings of play. Road team Seattle trying to take the World Series back to Seattle for the first time if they can win tonight. It's 2-1 over the Blue Jays, and this is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Keith in Arizona.
My mother, who is 90 years old, my mother saw Harry on ESPN the other morning. We were over there taking care of her. And she looked at him and she said, if I'd have known him in the day, that would have been your daddy.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He doesn't play well on the field, and he causes headlines off the field. Tua this year has been a disaster. Someone told him, I'm convinced, you've got to be a vocal leader. Well, if you're not a vocal leader naturally, you can't just become one overnight and just start talking for the sake of your voice being heard. Tua should not play one more snap ever again for the Miami Dolphins.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Now, Brian Wu is beginning to throw in the Seattle Mariner bullpen as we've gotten to the middle part of this Game 7. Fifth inning, Varland is back on the mound, the first reliever out. Looks like Sir Anthony Dominguez is warming for Toronto.
Brian Wu was their best pitcher, starting pitcher this year. We are going to see him in this game, likely the first guy to come in. And of course, they have Andres Munoz, who's good for a good 2 innings tonight, if not more.
Varland will get Cal Raleigh, Naylor, and Polanco. It was Polanco who, in the second game, hit a 3-run home run off Varland. As we begin a 2-1 game in the 5th. The righty to the lefty, Raleigh. Swing and a miss. Cal Raleigh behind 0-1.
Yeah, that pitch was maybe 7 or 8 inches outside. Looking for the heater, ends up getting the changeup.
Varland holds that glove in front of his face. Now he fires. Raleigh sends one to right field. That one sends Barger back. And Cal Raleigh, the home run king, delivers a big fly to the bullpen. And the Mariners now have a 3-1 lead. Varland gives up another homer. It is the 65th homer combined regular season and postseason for Raleigh, and it is a big one.
No one had ever hit 60 homers in a season and then hit 3 postseason homers in the same season. He's now got 5.
And it has gotten very quiet at the Rogers Center. Cal Raleigh continues to perform at that MVP level. Now Naylor, he swings and sends one to center. Varsho got a good jump on it, and he ranges to his left to make the out. Naylor keeps swinging at first pitches. He has flied out his last 2 times up.
Yeah, so Louis Varland's best pitch is his fastball. His second best pitch is the knuckle curve. Third one's the changeup. He threw the changeup to Cal Raleigh, pitch that was way outside. Cal swung at it, came right back with the same pitch right out over the plate, losing with his third best pitch.
Second home run of the night for Seattle. First pitch is fouled off at the plate by Polanco.
Place got a little bit quiet, didn't it?
The 0-1, and Polanco takes down 1-1.
So far, 2 home runs for the Seattle Mariners. All extra base hits that they have hit except 1 have scored.
Yep.
The good thing is they've been solo shots if you're the Toronto Blue Jays.
Remember, of the first 25 runs the Mariners scored in this series, 20 came via the homer.
Here's the next pitch. Polanco on a line for Vlad Guerrero on a hop. Makes a nice play. Polanco hit a rocket right at Vlad. And one hop, he was able to snare it and then win the race to the bag for the second out.
I'll tell you what, every ball this inning has been hit hard.
Yep.
Louis Varland's not fooling anyone right now. I know that John Schneider trusts Louis Varland, but he got a big out to end the 4th inning. He's trying to get one more here.
Here's a Rosarena. He tries to check his swing, but he didn't, and it's 0-1. Well, in this series, the team that wins the home run battle in each game has won each game. They are 5-0. And it's the Mariners who are winning it right now. Swing and a miss from a Rosarena. It's 0-2. Looks like Brian Wu is going to come into this ball game for Seattle, leading by at least 2. Now Rosarena fouls one off at the plate.
couple of big homers that Varland has given up in the league championship series. The 3-run homer to Polanco. And that solo shot to Raleigh to up the lead to 3-1. The 0-2. Arozarena sky high on the infield. Kiner Falefa, the second baseman, under it, and he is there to one-hand it. But the year of Cal Raleigh didn't end when the regular season did, fellas. It continues in the postseason.
Talk about the stars shining at the biggest time. Here's another one.
Raleigh's got a homer. Julio's got a homer and a double. He has scored twice. Raleigh scored once. That's all 3 runs. And in the middle of the 5th, it's Seattle 3, Toronto 1. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The Rich Eisen Show.
Do I look older to you than the last time you saw me?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to say anything.
Calling the Jets-Broncos game aged me. I felt for all of the Brits here for whom that might have been their first NFL game. The worst part about it was the end of the first half when the Jets had called a fake punt and they couldn't stop it. The thing I didn't understand is, like, if the clock's winding down, why weren't they just launching it into the end zone?
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
I was a choir boy.
I doubt that very seriously, Paul. You're one of those that presents himself as a choir boy, and then you're the one that's hanging from the chandeliers.
Paul Feinbaum, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and the SEC network.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Tuesday, I'm back from London. NFL on Fox's Mark Schlereth joins me. Author Jeff Pearlman has a new book on Tupac Shakur. He'll join me. Plus, Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday. That is Tuesday on The Rich Eisen Show on Disney Plus, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
The best mornings
in the morning light
start with Wrangler.
Pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Well, the wheels are turning. George Kirby is out of the game, and into the game comes the Mariners' best pitcher when healthy, and that is Brian Wu. He is on the mound. He of the injured pectoral muscle, which knocked him out, and he had just come back here in this postseason. And what a challenge he's going to be facing, not only given the Game 7 status, but the Blue Jays will send 9, 1, and 2 to face him.
Right, and remember, he's made one appearance now since September the 19th, and the relief appearance he had in this postseason was his first relief appearance since 2021. But he's a great pitcher, and they're putting him in a big spot here.
So Wu is a hard thrower, primarily a fastball. He gets Jimenez to start the 5th. His first pitch is down. Do you both, Eddie, I'll start with you, agree with the move to get Kirby out?
I think they committed to it 2 times around the order, and this is the thing. They wanted him to start with a clean inning. I'm okay because they're following script and the offense is taking care of business.
The 1-0, Jimenez takes another one, and it's 2-0 from Wu at four-seam fastball at 96.
Taking a strike here, Eddie?
I am not taking a strike here.
Back-to-back seasons of sub-3 ERAs for Wu, the right-hander, who is behind 2-0. And Jimenez is now looking at a 3-0 count. No control over that fastball way inside.
Now I take 2.
Wu kicks at the rubber as Kirby's night is over after 4 innings. And he gave up 4 hits and 1 run. 3 balls, no strikes. The leadoff hitter in the 5th. Next pitch, that's in there for a strike. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball to go 3-1. George Springer on deck. Mariners get homers from Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. They lead it 3-1. Here is the 3-1 pitch. That's inside, ball 4. He walked the leadoff man.
generally not a good omen.
No, not a good omen, especially when you have George Springer coming up in the heart of the order, representing the tying run.
The crowd recognizes there may be an opportunity with Kirby out. Springer, a walk and a ground out. First pitch to him, swung on, and he fouls it hard off the first base side.
It was yesterday that the Mariners hit into 3 double plays that pretty much sealed the deal for them. They're hoping now to return the favor.
Who was an all-star, left off the Division Series roster. And he is ready on the 0-1. Swing and a miss. A very good fastball at 97, and maybe he's found his footing a little bit.
The league hit 153 off of his 4-seamer this year, and he's got 4 other pitches to set that pitch up.
Jimenez leads off first. Wu is ahead of Springer, 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss, and boy, Brian Wu just broke out a sweeper at 85, and Springer was fooled badly.
That was a pitch that didn't even start in the strike zone, but when you're cheating fastball, there's no way that you can stop the momentum of that bat head.
One man down, and it's Nathan Lucas. First pitch to him. He fouls it at the plate. He jumped all over a fastball at 97.
Nathan Lucas has to play big offensively. He's had some really good at-bats in the 2 spot with Vladimir Guerrero on deck.
Wu drafted in 2021 by the Mariners in the 6th round. The 0-1, and that's high to Lucas. To Cal Pauly. His Baseball Savant page is just all red. He doesn't walk many at all. Strikeout percentage is in the 80th percentile. He'll throw that 4-seamer about 50% of the time. 1-1. On the ground, could be 2. Crawford will try it himself. He jumps over the slide of Jimenez and fires to first. An athletic and acrobatic play. And it's the Blue Jays hitting into the double play tonight, not the Mariners.
Absolutely athletic play by Crawford, who threw the ball in midair to first base, avoiding the slide of Jimenez. Sometimes it's good to see some athleticism out there.
Thank goodness.
We're seeing it from the shortstop for the Mariners on a good stretch by Naylor. We're at the end of 5 innings of play, and the momentum is on the Mariners side as Wu gets the double play. They lead it 3-1, and this is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny.
I've been teetering on the edge of buying back into Spencer Rattler, and I'm back in. I'm in the Rat Pack. He's been so much better this year as a manager of the pocket, and that is leading to some of the production we're getting, coupled with better decision-making overall. I really think he has taken a step forward as a quarterback and should be a starter in the NFL.
Check out the Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Plan on flying? It's time to upgrade to a Real ID. Because in order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a Real ID, or you'll need another acceptable form of identification. So don't wait. Find out how to get your Real ID at tsa.gov/Real ID. That's tsa.gov/Real ID, or visit your local DMV. And then you'll be cleared for takeoff.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Well, I mean, you can certainly see right now the way that Dan Wilson is going right to a starter in Brian Wu, albeit one that hasn't been a starter for the big part of the season with his pectoral injury. And the Blue Jays have been more conventional in going to two relievers. The first one was Louis Varland, and now they have called on the righty Sir Anthony Dominguez.
And Sir Anthony Dominguez is called upon on the task to try to get the same man that hit a grand slam off of him in Seattle, one of the biggest home runs in Seattle history, especially if they hold on to win this ALCS.
Looks like the next arm up, or at least one of them in the Blue Jay bullpen, is Braden Fisher. So Sir Anthony Dominguez will get Eugenio Suarez. And the first pitch to him is elevated, ball one. You know, speaking prior to the game in the Blue Jay clubhouse, it certainly felt like both Max Scherzer and Kevin Gausman expected to be in this game, as Suarez sends one off the end of his bat to shallow left field. Coming hard and making the play is Nathan Lucas. And Dominguez gets weak contact off the bat of Suarez. There's one down in the sixth.
Going after that second pitch, be able to get it right off the splitter.
And that brings up J.P. Crawford. A terrific athletic play to field one up the middle and then leap over the sliding base runner on his throw to first for a double play. First pitch to Crawford on a line, hard one. It is off the leg of Kiner Falefa, and he's got plenty of time. Looked like that thing had some serious topspin. It got underneath the glove of Kiner Falefa, but then it hit off his leg and stayed close enough for the out.
He's not even rubbing it right here. He was backhanding this ball, and it seemed like it hit him right on the left leg. Oh, it hit him right off the heel of the glove. Then off the leg.
Two down quickly, Leo Rivas. Sir Anthony Dominguez working effectively, and that first pitch is in there for a strike. He's throwing hard. It's a sinker at 98.
Sometimes you get momentum from a pitcher that comes in and gets three quick outs. Let's see how Dominguez can take care of Rivas.
2 outs with 1 strike. Here's the 5th pitch of the inning. And he went off-speed sweeper and missed to go 1 ball, 1 strike.
Say it again, Ravi. Sinker at 98.
Big guy Dominguez, the right-hander, pitched for the Phillies recently. And here is another one that is a check of the check swing and no swing. So it's 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1 on the way. And that one is right off the fists and has popped up on the infield and foul ground. Ernie Clement. Yikes. Like that one hurt Leo Rivas. It came right in and got on the fists of the bat. Didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, a lot of baseball left. It's 3-1. And now it's Vladimir Guerrero that's going to be leading off the next inning. And right there, Sir Anthony Dominguez, that's a statement inning. When you're able to get 3 outs immediately coming out of the bullpen with 7 pitches, let's see if that motivates their offense.
Vladimir Guerrero, Alejandro Kirk, Dalton Varsho. We're in the middle of the 6th inning of Game 7. It's Seattle 3, Toronto 1. You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
What's up, kiddos? Clinton Yates here. Coming up on Tuesday, the Blue Jays and Mariners are fighting for a spot in the World Series. We'll break that down and react to a 2-pack of Monday Night Football games. That's Tuesday on Clinton and Friends at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
ESPN presents El Clásico, the greatest rivalry in sports.
Another clash of the old enemies, Real Madrid and Barcelona.
A match that stops the world, featuring Kylian Mbappe and Lamine Yamal, the brightest stars in global football.
It's one of the biggest rivalries in football.
El drama, el honor, el legado, El Clásico. Real Madrid versus Barcelona, Sunday, only on ESPN Plus, ESPN2, and ESPN Deportes.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen coming up Tuesday as a banged-up Bucs team heads to Detroit. I'll tell you why the winner of this game has the inside track to come out of the NFC. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle. Unlock all of ESPN and all of Fox One with one unbeatable price. Catch the biggest games, college football, NBA, NHL, and more on ESPN. Stream your faves, Big Noon Saturday, the World Series, and NASCAR on Fox One. All for just $39.99 a month. That's 20% off. The ESPN Fox One bundle. Offer valid for eligible subscribers only. Access content from each service separately. Savings compared to purchasing both plans separately. See stream.espn.com for complete terms and conditions.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Vlad's coming up. We'll be back in 10 seconds after the station identification. You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. You're listening to Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. It's presented by Loan Depot, and here we go. Vlad Guerrero leads off the bottom of the 6th. He has been on fire the entire postseason. His team's down 3-1 as he faces Brian Wu. Deep breath from Wu. He rocks and fires. And Guerrero takes down ball 1.
Pretty big inning here, Eddie, huh?
Really big inning after a statement top half by Sir Anthony Dominguez coming out of the pen.
18 hits in the postseason for Vlad Guerrero, now 19 with a single in the first. Here's the 1-0. He takes it. That's a called strike at the letters from Wu with a fastball at 97. Six homers this postseason for Guerrero. He's pulled most, if not all of them. And now ready on a 1-1. Here it comes. He swings. That's a good pitch, a sinker. He was way over the top, and Wu was ahead 1-2.
That pitch had serious down and in action.
At 95.
He missed that maybe by a couple inches right over the baseball.
Yeah, that's a terrific pitch from Wu, who works his second inning. Guerrero is the leadoff hitter here. It's a 1-2 on the way, and that's outside. He went with a sweeper, 2-2. So Vlad showed up, by the way, to the game wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, Austin Matthews jersey, representing the hockey team here in Toronto. And the 2-2, fouled at the plate. It was a good look. The problem is the Maple Leafs, in their last 7 Game 7s, are 0-7.
Well, my cousin Craig is a huge Leafs fan. They haven't won since 1967.
Yeah, so tempting fate or trying to change it. 2-2, nobody out. Guerrero leading off the 6th, team down 3-1, and he fouls another one off at the plate. That sinker is moving in on him.
I am telling you, that is absolutely filthy. What Vladdy is doing right now to be able to just foul those pitches off with 2 strikes.
You go back to it, Eddie? You don't want to...
Well, you can always go to the slider away and go right back to it, 3-2.
Wu was ready, and here comes the 2-2. And Guerrero fouls one off. That was a 4-seam fastball that was elevated a little bit. Fouled it off to the seats on the first base side. It stays 2-2. A good battle brewing right here between Brian Wu and Vlad Guerrero. Toronto trails 3-1 in this Game 7. Here it comes. And another foul ball on another sinker.
Kevin Gossman told me before the game, this guy can cover anything. He's got a pretty long swing, but he can get to anything, as he's proving right here.
Well, Kevin Gossman is now throwing in the Toronto bullpen. 2-2, 6th inning, nobody out. And the next one to Guerrero. Swing and a miss. Wow, he got him to chase a sweeper. And Vlad Guerrero is out. What pitching from Brian Wu.
Unbelievable pitching by Brian Wu. Goes with the sweeper way out of the zone. 9th pitch of the at-bat.
And Vladdy's 3rd strikeout of the postseason. When you strike him out, you are doing something.
That was filthy. Now Alejandro Kirk. Wu has got a couple of strikeouts, and he induced a double play. Here's the first one to Kirk.
That's ball one as he held up on it, and it missed down and in.
Tell you what, that last sequence of pitching, even Shania Twain would have been impressed.
Are you going to explain that?
Well, that don't impress me much, right?
1-0. Kirk fouls it off. That's the name of the song.
I'm well aware now. Been to 3 concerts in my life, Eddie. That's enough of the musical references, okay?
Got it. Check.
Eddie just showing his, his country connections.
Yeah. Thought Rabbi would like it.
I did like it. I was looking at Tim.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Alejandro Kirk against Wu. Here it comes. That's way outside with a sweeper. The MO on the Mariners and how they got this far is their pitching staff was as good, if not better, than any other pitching staff. Kirby showed why. They served a reminder from Kirby, and now you bring in their ace in relief in Wu. 1 out. Here's the 2-1. Kirk, a little blooper to center field. It's going to get down in front of Julio Rodriguez. That was about 65 miles an hour off the bat of Kirk. He's aboard with 1 out.
Get on base, got jammed off the bat. Just shows how strong he is. And now, will Dan Wilson go out there? Will it be the pitching coach? They have to talk this over.
It's going to be the pitching coach. Julio thought about that for a second, and then he decided, I want to put the brakes on here. And Kirk is at first, so Woodworth is out there to have a word with Wu, Cal Raleigh. Naylor, the first baseman, also joining in the conversation as Dalton Varsho is just about set to get to the plate.
Ravi, you talk about the command for Wu. This year, 36 walks, 198 strikeouts. I mean, he had like 23 consecutive quality starts.
He was an all-star for a very good reason, and he was the anchor of that staff.
Well, they've been pitching Varsho up the entire series, and most of the league does the same thing. Wu, with an excellent fastball, might go up there, but he cannot miss down if he does.
The lefty Spire, who's been so good, is getting loose in the Mariner pen. First pitch to Varsho. Wow, he had to jump out of the way of it. It's 1 ball, no strikes. The four-seam fastball was down and in.
Yeah, he pulled it. Cal Raleigh was asking for the pitch up.
Good power in Varsho, who was a muscle walking around the clubhouse. The next pitch swung on, and this one to right field on a line, and is playable out there for Victor Robles. Looked like that got off the end of the bat. Varsho retired on a fly out to right.
Yeah, 26th pitch right there gets hit off the end of the bat. A big out. Now Signal coming in from the bench to play just a couple steps deeper with Clement. Runner at first, even though the tying run is at the plate. Not a lot of speed at first base, and Kirk.
Right side of the infield is wide open as Rivas has moved towards second and Naylor is holding on Kirk. Clement, first pitch, takes down ball 1. There's a handful of guys that play for the Blue Jays who can manipulate the ball, who can use that bat to place it. And Clement's certainly that guy. And he certainly sees all that room on the right side of the infield. 2 outs, the 1-0. And instead he grounds it to shortstop, and a very easy play for Crawford. And the on-base machine that has been Ernie Clement tonight, he is 0 for 3. Ryan Wu gets the job done again for the 2nd inning in a row. We are through 6 innings of play here at the Rogers Center. The Mariners and their pitchers performing well. They lead it 3-1. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
the NBA on ESPN Radio.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder begin the defense of their title on opening night. They go head-to-head against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets.
Durant for three. Good!
The Rockets at the Thunder. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern, with tip-off at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 or in Mississippi.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest, you can't keep an eye on everything unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and with Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I'm Christine Lisi. With a trip to the World Series at stake, it is all arms on deck tonight for the Mariners and Blue Jays ALCS Game 7. That includes Toronto right-hander Kevin Gossman. On our pregame show, he told us he'll be ready when called upon.
Be ready, just make sure that you're ready. That's the biggest thing. Like, you would never want to look back on this moment and say, like, I should have done more to get prepared to pitch, or I didn't think I was going to pitch. So, I'll be ready to pitch every inning out there just in case.
Kevin Gossman, who's about to enter the game, he did pitch both in games 1 and 5 of this ALCS. His ERA this postseason 2.12. The winner tonight advances to the World Series and a meeting with the Dodgers. Game 1 Friday, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. As MLB gets ready for the Fall Classic, the NBA ready to tip off its season. We've got the Thunder and Rockets on opening night tomorrow, 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Let's now go back to Toronto with Eduardo Perez, Tim Kirkjian, and Carl Ravitch.
All right, Christine, thank you very much. And here we go. Kevin Gossman is into the ball game for the Blue Jays. He, of course, their number one starter. And he will face Victor Robles and then Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. So this is the lane. Their best pitcher against their best hitters. And trying to keep it 3-1 in this Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. And we're starting to get into the late innings. It's the 7th.
Gossman, of course, has pitched in relief in his major league career, but not in a while.
2021, the last time he did it. So the righty bounces on the mound with that front foot of his and now throws a first pitch, and he almost hit Robles. He missed it.
And I asked him, how's he going to get loose having not pitched in relief? So, well, I grew up in Colorado. We used to rub a lot of hot stuff all over our body to get our bodies ready to pitch in cold weather or get loose quicker.
1-0, Robles fouled at the plate. 1-1, an 83-mile-an-hour slider. So the last time he pitched in relief was in the 2021 National League Division Series game. He was a Giant. He pitched against the Dodgers. And he's ready on the 1-1. And that missed 2-1. Do you know who else pitched in relief in that game for the Dodgers?
Clayton Kershaw?
Nope. Max Scherzer. So both of the Blue Jays starters who could be in this game pitched in relief in 2021. Next pitch in there for a strike. It's 2-2.
It's another reminder, the postseason changes everything, especially pitching plans.
Rodriguez is on deck. That's Julio's got a double and a homer. Gossman trying to get rid of Robles. 2-2. That ball is whacked foul on the left field side. And that was a hanger and a banger. And he just yanked it about 30 feet foul.
Right. And Gossman, of course, was in the bullpen for the bullpen game in New York that Toronto used. And he said, I was out there for 4 innings and the phone rang 20 different times. He said it was crazy.
What do you do on a 2-2? Here it comes. And Robles, boy, that was right on his fist. A splitter. He fouled it off the
first base side. So it stays 2-2 in a 3-1 game. We're in the 7th inning. Winner to the World Series against the Dodgers. Gausman, the veteran who came here in 21, fires Robles. Did he check it? Yes, he did. And that will be a full count. He held up on one that was just below the knees.
Really good at-bat by Robles as well. 7 pitches in already, fouled a couple. Hasn't chased some of them as well.
Chris Bassett starts to warm in the Jays pen. This is a big pitch with Julio Rodriguez on deck. 3-2. And he lost him. Down low, ball 4 for Gausman. Robles, the leadoff man, on board ahead of Julio Rodriguez.
About 2 really important at-bats for Robles, and both times able to get on to allow Julio Rodriguez to hit with runners on.
And now the home run hitters. Rodriguez, who went deep in the 3rd. Raleigh, who went deep in the 4th. He's on deck. Gausman, first one to Rodriguez, a called strike. Fastball came in at 94.
Julio Rodriguez has been getting a steady dose of off-speed stuff. Gets a fastball right down the middle.
Gausman's got Robles to worry about at first. He's not going. And Julio on the ground is short. Fielded there by Jimenez. Kiner Falefa in-time double play. Wasn't hit very hard, but a good exchange between Jimenez and Kiner Falefa, who got it out real quick.
Yeah, that was the splitter right there, and Julio Rodriguez did not hit it hard at all. But I'll tell you this, when he did swing, he fell backwards before he could start running forwards towards the bag, and that right there was the difference. Cal Raleigh will be walked intentionally.
Raleigh goes to first, and
I don't like this.
Okay.
I don't like this because I think Kevin Gausman has the stuff with the splitter to be able to get Cal Raleigh, who, even though he went deep already in this game, I have to trust my veteran on the mound not to make a mistake.
Well, a hard hitter here, and this is Josh Naylor, and the first pitch to him is inside. Eduardo's Instant Analysis brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So they walk Raleigh to face Naylor, who's as hot as anybody. The 1-0.
And that's the thing. Naylor has been taking really good aggressive at-bats, hitting the ball hard. Now you have to play the outfield deep, make sure that Raleigh does not score from first.
He's fallen behind 2-0 to Naylor, who reached and drove in a run in the first, then a couple of flyouts. Next pitch, that's way off, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Jorge Polanco on deck.
Made 0 sense to me. You're down 2.
As you know, of course, Raleigh has amazing numbers against Kevin Gausman. But I see what you're saying, Eddie.
It's a 3-0 pitch, and that's off. And a 4-pitch walk to Naylor after the intentional walk to Raleigh. And they got him at first and second, and that's going to bring Pete Walker out to have a conversation with the veteran Gausman.
Yeah, I think that confused Gausman a little bit as well. When you get the 4 from the dugout, takes him out of whack. He just got a big double play, and then you put another runner immediately on, thinking he was going to get off the stretch back from the windup.
Fascinating the way that these postseason games play out and who ends up being on the mound. You sense that Gausman would be in. There's a good chance Scherzer was going to be called. He thought he would. Ryan Wu has been outstanding out of the Seattle pen.
Right, and now twice in this postseason, the 3 of us have seen somebody walked intentionally with nobody on base. Used to be tremendously unusual.
Well, it's been a bit here for Jorge Polanco. Is he set to deliver another dagger for Seattle? He's up with 2 men on. There are 2 outs. We're in the 7th, and Seattle leads 3-1. First pitch to him. Ball 1 down from Gausman, a splitter.
And earlier in this postseason, he had 3 of the biggest hits in the history of the franchise to get him to this point.
Jorge Polanco, count 1-0. Gausman comes to the plate. He takes it. That's a strike, a splitter at 85 miles an hour. It's 1-1. Bottom just dropped out, and the replays on television showed it was way beneath the strike zone. But Gausman got the call. 1-1 on the way. Polanco takes, and that one misses. That was down as well. So the splitter is dropping a little too quickly. 2 balls and a strike.
That's got good action. Right now, he might continue to throw it because it's working really well late.
Raleigh's off second. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. A good splitter there, and that one was up just a little bit in the strike zone. Gausman had a neighbor, a female he described as somebody who doesn't really follow baseball at all, who told him, you know, the Blue Jays are going to meet the Dodgers in the World Series. And they are close to fulfilling that vision. 2-2 with 2 outs. Gausman fires. Polanco rolls one over to second base. Kiner Falefa up with it, and he will throw to first for the final out of the top of the 7th inning. Gausman strides off, and he will leave 2. We will go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the bottom of the Blue Jay order coming up. Looks like Brian Wu is going to come back on the mound. It stays 3-1 in favor of the Mariners, and this is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
ESPN Hockey Night.
Panthers have agreed to a trade with the Bruins to acquire Brad Marchand.
Marchand returns to Boston, not as a friend, but as a foe with another ring.
The Florida Panthers are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Will the Beantown faithful welcome him back?
What a goal by Brad Marchand!
ESPN Hockey Night presented by Honda. Panthers Bruins at 7:30 Eastern. Avalanche Mammoth at 10. Tuesday on ESPN and the ESPN app.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Holding. Defense.
The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Brian Wu back on the mound, bottom 7 here of Game 7. Seattle on the road trying to get to their first ever World Series, lead it 3-1. Brian Wu's looked terrific. He was the first pitcher, by the way, to open a season with 24 straight starts of at least 6 innings and no more than 2 walks. That's how good he was and how good he continues to be. He will get Addison Barger to lead off the bottom of the 7th. And Wu rocks and fires. And that's inside to Barger. It's 1-0. Barger ready. Here comes Wu's pitch. Swung on, fouled off, and it's going to go to the seats on the third base side.
That's pretty impressive. The Mariners have gotten to this point without Brian Wu starting a game. But now, because of that injury, they have him in the most important relief appearance of the season.
13 strikeouts, 6 innings in the middle of September. And then he got hurt. Next one to Barger. That's high. Looks like Edward Brizardo is warming in the Mariner pen. We're in the 7th. Munoz is available. When they decide to pull that card remains to be seen. 2-1 on the way to Barger. Nope, 3-1. A fastball was down from Wu.
Well, they want him for the high leverage, and that most likely will be from Springer all the way to Varsho.
7, 8, 9 to start, and a good hitters count 3-1. Well, they challenge him with heat. He missed inside a leadoff walk, and you can see the frustration on Wu's face as he walks off the back of the mound, having given up the leadoff walk to Barger.
And not used to that. 36 walks in 186 innings. That's tremendous command, and now leadoff guy's on.
Third time this game that the leadoff hitter leading off an inning has gotten on base via the walk for Toronto.
Now Connor Falefa lined out and grounded out to second. He squares to bunt. They will pull back. That is a called strike. 0-1.
2 down, Eddie. 2 runs down.
2 runs down. The only play I like there, if it's a push bunt,
right side.
The way he was squared up, Rivas more up the middle.
Wu ready on an 0-1. Connor Falefa very late, and it's 0-2. A sinker that just works so hard and down and into these right-handed hitters. We saw Guerrero spoil a bunch, but man, that pitch is working for Brian Wu.
Yeah, it felt like he was trying to hit that 3-4 hole the other way.
Wu ahead, 0-2. Here it comes. Connor Falefa up the middle. It's going to get through into center field. And holding up at second base wisely is Barger. But the Blue Jays in business against Wu in the 7th.
Eddie, 0-2 pitch.
Yep. Well, it stayed arm side. That ball was supposed to be down and away the way that Cal Raleigh was set up. And it just stayed up. And you wonder now, you're asking Wu to go into uncharted territory, having come from the pen and not being built up. Pete Woodworth back out, so that means they're not taking him out.
Nope.
And Andres Jimenez now having a conversation at third base with Carlos Febles, because he's thinking, do I bunt here or what do I do if they charge? I bunt. I don't think they're going with a wheel play. They have a 3-1 lead. You have to go right here and play it straight up defensively.
Jimenez, remember, got a bunt down in this ALCS. In the same game, he hit a homer. 7th guy ever to hit a home run and a sacrifice bunt in an ALCS game. And Eddie, this is a critical decision here. Do you bunt him or not?
Oh, you bunt him. You're at home, you bunt him. You play for the tie.
He's a great bunter. Suarez has moved up in front of the bag at third. Naylor will crash from first. Blue Jays have Barger at second. Connor Falefa at first. Wu stays in the game. George Springer's on deck.
You bunt at the third base.
3-1 Seattle. Crowd screaming. Jimenez squares. It almost hit him. It's 1-0 as he pulled it back. What a spot for Brian Wu, a starter used as a reliever tonight off of a pectoral injury. Trying to protect a 2-run lead for Seattle. He's ready with a 1-0. Jimenez squaring, gets it down. Wu has it. He has one play to first. He makes a good throw. Jimenez gets the job done. He claps and asks the crowd to get even more into it as he heads back to the dugout.
Fundamental baseball. Man, do I love fundamental baseball right there. You made Brian Wu make the play. He takes the shore out. And that'll be it for Brian Wu.
It looks like they are going to bring in the lefty, Spire. Let's see who's coming out of that bullpen. He was the one warming up. Yeah. You wouldn't bring a lefty in to face
Bizzardo's
Springer.
ready. Bizzardo's ready.
It is Bizzardo who's coming out. They turn the lights out in Rogers Center to get the crowd even more into it as Edward Bizzardo, who's been really good, is facing the biggest spot of his major league career. The call to the bullpen comes with 1 out. We're in the 7th inning. The tying run is at second base. It is 3-1 Seattle. And this is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Your boy getting up there.
Welcome to my world. I'll be 60 next month. I don't want to hear it. You young whippersnappers not taking care of yourself. when something bothers you, I'll be all right.
Well, here's the
I'll
thing,
be
though,
okay.
because, once I get on that 5-hour energy, I think I'm undefeated, man.
Sure. You better get on that 5-hour doctor energy.
That 5-hour energy give me a boost.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
With the early success of Jaden Daniels and then Drake May last year, we were wondering if Caleb Williams had what it takes to be the best guy to come out of this draft class. I think that's definitely still on the table for him. He may have a slower progression than them, but if he found the right guy to extract the best out of him, he absolutely could put it all together.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Edward Brizardo, who has been used and has been effective for the Mariners out of the bullpen in this postseason, inherits a runner at third in Barger and a runner at second in Karner Falefa. And George Springer stepping to the plate. First base is open.
Eddie Brizardo's gotten a lot of work lately.
A lot of work. They're going to need him to pound George Springer in. He's been pitched in the entire time. He's got to focus on the hitter. Forget about the runners right now. Stay focused on executing pitches in the infield. Just making the play.
Brizardo at the belt. Springer digs in. He fires. And it's again way inside. That's how they have started Springer each and every plate appearance. A walk, a ground ball to third, and a strikeout. He's got as much successful postseason experience as anyone on this roster. The 1-0. Swing and a drive, left field. This one is back. George Springer just had his Kirk Gibson moment. Bad knee and all, a 3-run homer to put the Blue Jays ahead. And he looks healthy, rounding the bases. A Springer dinger. Blue Jays 4, Mariners 3.
One of the greatest postseason players.
100%.
In recent, if not all, history.
And Tim, he could barely swing a bat yesterday, crumbling to the ground with a bad back knee after he got hit by a pitch. And man, is he beloved here even before the 3-run homer to put Toronto on top. Does his knee look bad running around the bases?
Told you, nothing hurts when you hit it that hard.
The guy who had the resurgent season is going to finish in the top 5 of the MVP balloting. It's one of the biggest homers, at least so far, in the history of the franchise.
A crushing blow for Edward Brizardo and the Seattle Mariners.
Guys, Brizardo threw 2 innings yesterday. Again, it always carries over. Varland threw yesterday, it carried over. But this is George Springer's moment. What a shot, what a moment. Fastball stayed right center cut.
The kid out of Connecticut with all that experience in Houston. Springer goes yard, the crowd's going crazy. And the first pitch is swung on by Lucas, and it's going to go foul third base side.
And a lot of people at home are wondering, where's Munoz? Right? It was right here where Buck Showalter didn't even bring in Bedard either.
Next pitch to Lucas, high from Brizardo, and you've got to believe it's going to be hard to recover from the go-ahead 3-run home run from Springer. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Blue Jays now lead 4-3, and this one is fouled off behind home.
Remember, the Blue Jays have 47 comeback wins this year, and they've won 17 games that they trailed after 6 innings. This is really nothing new.
We're in the bottom of the 7th. 4-3 game. Lucas on a line into right field. It's going to get down. And Edward Bazardo's given up a 3-run home run. And now a single off the bat of Lucas.
They say walks will kill you. Leadoff walk. A base hit.
On an 0-2 pitch.
Fundamental baseball. They decide to pitch to George Springer, and he makes him pay.
Springer is so respected in that clubhouse for what he brings on and off the field. Now Vlad Guerrero bats. Swings and laces one on the line to left, and it stays just high enough that Arozarena was able to hold on to it. That thing was a rising airplane off of a Navy cruiser. Woo, what a liner, but it's an out.
Left at 113.1 miles per hour off the bat. Vladdy didn't even take the bat out of his hands. That's how quick they got to Arozarena.
That would have rung off the left field wall instead of hard line out for Guerrero. 2 down now, and here's Kirk. Swings at the first one, and he misses on a slider.
I'll say this, 3 hard hit balls. I am surprised Bazardo's still in the game. He is not fooling anyone right now.
And he's faced the 3-batter minimum.
You have to keep this a 1-run game.
0-1 to Kirk. That's in there. It's 0-2. He went with a sinker, and it rolled in at 97 miles an hour.
Any other hitter, that would have been a line drive single that landed 30 feet in front of Arozarena. He hits it so hard, it caught it in the air.
2 outs, 0-2 to Kirk. That's down and away, 1-2, and he will ask for time. George Springer, the man that was having a hard time. We didn't know if he was going to play in Game 6 after he got drilled in Game 5. He showed up, he swung a bat, he went down to that back knee, and here he is delivering one of the biggest home runs in Blue Jays recent history. A 1-2, 2 out on the way to Kirk. And he takes it 2-2. We keep talking about 1993 and the Joe Carter home run. This home run may get them to a World Series. The 2-2 to Alejandro Kirk from Bazardo. Called strike 3. Kirk is gone. And after the groan from the fans, they will realize what George Springer has just done for them.
There's been big moments in this stadium in Toronto Blue Jay history, and they've been waiting a long time for George Springer to make them feel the same way again.
The Blue Jays are going to bring Chris Bassett into the game for the 8th. We are through 7 innings of play, and it is now a Blue Jay 4-3 lead over the Mariners. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, did you miss Clinton and Friends?
K9 in Florida.
Yo, what's up, OG? The reason I called, man, is because I feel like my boy Giannis has officially taken over as the #1 Greek. I've said this before, growing up, there hasn't been too many Greek guys to look up to other than Uncle Jesse John Stamos. So when Giannis came around, I mean, we just went nuts.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. The Rich Eisen Show.
Do I look older to you than the last time you saw me?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to say anything.
Calling the Jets-Broncos game aged me. I felt for all of the Brits here for whom that might have been their first NFL game. The worst part about it was the end of the first half when the Jets had called a fake punt and they couldn't stop it. The thing I didn't understand is that if the clock's winding down, why weren't they just launching it into the end zone?
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
One swing, and the 7th game of the American League Championship Series has turned around. And you know, Eduardo, in the Pacific Northwest, many people are wondering, we haven't used Munoz. We're facing a guy that has had great success in the postseason in George Springer. Pizarro has pitched quite a bit. Was it an opportunity in the highest leverage situation with Guerrero up after Springer to bring in your best?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, moments like this stay with you for a long time.
Chris Bassett to Randy Arozarena. First pitch, ground ball, shortstop to Hopper Jimenez. 1 down.
And we can't say it too many times, Ravi. This is an elite defensive team. And when you're trying to protect a 1-run lead with 5 outs to go, you got to have some faith. You put the ball in the grass, somebody's going to make a play. Bassett pitched in game 2. He went 1 2/3, didn't give up anything. He gets Suarez. First pitch poured in there, a sinker at 95. And Bassett is another one with all sorts of experience, very measured, easy to approach, and he is working quickly. He goes off speed. Kirk holds it, but it's a ball inside on a sweeper, 1-1. Hoffman, the closer, and Mason Fluharty, the lefty, are throwing in the Blue Jay pen. Toronto leads 4-3, 1 out, 8th inning. Suarez. That one just missed as well, a sinker. And Bassett's starting to have some issue with Quinn Walcott behind home.
And that pitch was outside. He wants it, trying to keep his composure. He's calling the pitches from the mound on the pitch column.
Suarez, 2 homers in a game earlier, including a grand slam. The 2-1 to him. Swings there, and it's 2-2. 94-mile-an-hour sinker from Bassett.
There's some life to that arm right now and to that action.
He is ready to fire here to Suarez. 2-2. High, 3-2.
Key is try to keep a runner off base, because if not, it would guarantee, if you get 4 hitters up, it'll guarantee an at-bat for Cal Raleigh in the 9th.
Bassett's at the belt, the big righty, to Eugenio Suarez. 3-2 on the ground foul, third base side.
Suarez, 49 homers this year, 2 in Game 5, including arguably the biggest home run in the history of the franchise.
Without question. Bassett has postseason experience with Oakland in 2020, with the Mets in 2022, and here. But the furthest he has ever gotten is this, a league championship series. 3-2, 1 out. Off speed, he got him! Suarez frozen and upset with the home plate umpire, and he gives it to Quinn Walcott as Bassett threw a off-speed pitch, and Suarez is livid. And he may have an argument. It was a little bit in, but the curveball is called strike 3.
Well, he took some off and he gave up on it, and the pitch was coming right at him.
Now J.P. Crawford. Another one of those off-speed curveballs that missed 1-0.
Bassett's looking good right now on the mound.
Bassett, like so many Blue Jays who have been around the block but not to a World Series, can start to smell it. The 1-0 on the ground is short. Jimenez backs up, fields, fires, and Bassett roars off the mound as he gets a 1-2-3 8th inning to contribute to what may be their first trip to a World Series since 1993.
I don't know if you want to shake his hand or slap his hand in the dugout, because you could break it coming in hot. Bassett doing the job on 10 pitches.
What a game!
It certainly has been, as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Blue Jays have rallied on a 3-run home run from Springer to lead it by a run. It's 4-3.
And this is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey guys, Kevin Clark here from the This Is Football podcast. This week, Will Compton and Trey Smith join me to break down all of the Week 6 action. That's This Is Football, where we get your pods.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
October 10th is World Mental Health Day. And this year, we are saying thank you, therapists. Behind every supportive moment and small win is a therapist who showed up and made a difference. BetterHelp has supported over 5 million people globally on their mental health journeys. With 12-plus years experience and the world's largest online network of qualified therapists, it's easy to match with the one that's right for you. See for yourself. Just call pound 250 and say the keyword game time. That's keyword game time.
At Wrangler, we know the essential question for any guy is, can I go like this? It could be date night, boys' night, work, or your nephew's school play. It could be anything, and the last thing you want to do is change. That's why Wrangler makes jeans, shirts, jackets, and tees that answer yes to life's essential question. You can go in Wrangler. Check out our latest styles today at Wrangler.com. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Dan Wilson, who's been with the Mariners for so long and in so many capacities, now the manager, knows very well how the Pacific Northwest region feels about the Mariners. I mean, it is a love affair, but there is a foreboding feeling about this franchise currently and their inability to get to a World Series. They had a 3-1 lead going into the 7th inning and gave up a 3-run home run. And there is some real despair right now in Seattle. They got Munoz on the mound trying to keep it right where it is. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Dalton Varsho will lead things off. And the Mariner closer throws the first one. And that ball's into right field on a line and down. First pitch slider, Varsho delivers a single. The leadoff man is aboard. It's Dalton Varsho's second hit of the night.
And I love that George Springer's on the top step of the dugout telling the hitters, do not think that this is over. Continue to push. Continue to push. That's exactly what they're doing. Clement, in the meantime, coming up. He's looking at third. He's looking at first. He might be thinking about push bunting here.
Naylor holds the runner, Varsho on, and here he goes into a bunt situation, and that one is fouled at the plate, 0-1.
Eddie, the pitch to Varsho was thigh high, not up, just like you said.
It was a slider, and that's the problem. But I will say this. Ernie Clement has such a great bat-to-ball skill. These are the times that the hit and run comes into play.
0-1, he's going to try to bunt it again, and did he offer? No, he did not. The pitch was outside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a very similar situation to the last time Clement was up. The second baseman, Rivas, is way towards second. There's a massive hole over there, but remember, he rolled one over to the shortstop. He's already in a bunt position, now pulls back, and that's in there for a strike as he doesn't offer. 99 from Munoz. It's 1-2.
Four-seam fastball at 99. It's his second best pitch.
Clement's been an on-base machine. He came in hitting .447, and he will hit one right into that hole. The second baseman was over, heading to third base. Varsho, he's in there, and Ernie Clement saw it and delivered. First and third, nobody out in the eighth for the Blue Jays.
Dalton Varsho deked Robles in right field, and Robles did not attack the baseball. He sat back on it, and as soon as he stepped back, Varsho never took his eye off the ball, wasn't looking at Febles. He made his own call. Excellent base running by Varsho, getting to third base. That'll force the infield in, and chaos has started. Again, the base running of the Blue Jays, phenomenal.
The difference between first and second here and first and third is enormous, especially with the infield having to come in now.
Addison Barger against Munoz. 2 on, nobody out. And he takes ball 1.
Infield playing in. Crawford tight to the bag at second.
Varsho gets some last-minute advice from Fablis, his third base coach, and that's in there for a called strike at 99 miles an hour, and Munoz must shut this off. Toronto leads 4-3 in the bottom of the eighth of Game 7. First and third, nobody out. Next one, Barger takes up 2-1.
How about Vladdy? He is standing in the top part of the deepest part of the dugout, just clapping and clapping, cheering on Addison Barger. 2-1
on the way from Munoz to Barger. Swings, hooks it. Oh, Naylor snared it and stepped on first. A rocket off the bat of Barger, and Josh Naylor caught it on a line, stepped on first, and who had that double play on their bingo card?
Buck Showalter told me once, the only time you can justify getting doubled off on a line drive is right there. A rocket to the first baseman who's playing near the bag. Ernie Clement had no chance to get back there.
And Munoz is a hitter away from getting out of it. And the first pitch he throws to Kiner Falefa is a strike.
Tell you what, he fell off that mound in that last pitch like Mitch Williams did back when Philadelphia played the Toronto Blue Jays here in the World Series.
0-1, 2 outs. Here it comes. Kiner Falefa fouls it off. It's 0-2 with Dalton Varsho down there at third base.
And what a big hit Kiner Falefa got in this game with a single in the 7th inning, nobody out on an 0-2 pitch, and got that rally really rolling, and Springer took care of the rest.
Well, Munoz, the benefactor of an absolute missile that Naylor snared and was able to turn the double play. 2 outs, 0-2. Missed away, 1-2.
That ball was at 106 miles per hour and right at Josh Naylor.
Andres Munoz, the closer for Seattle, has Varsho at third base, trailing by a run. 2 outs and the 1-2. And that's pulled foul. Third base side into the seats.
Eddie, you played first base a lot. 106 miles an hour, even with the bag.
And you're fortunate that Naylor is a left-handed first baseman, as he had to reach over to his right.
And Kiner Falefa deliver his second big hit in consecutive innings. Up the middle, it is fielded by the second baseman, Rivas, and he is able to throw out Kiner Falefa.
Missed opportunities, Carl.
It sure was.
Right there, you're thinking first and third, no outs, infield in. And Munoz is able to get out of it.
We'll resuscitate Tim during the timeout. Julio Rodriguez will bat third. The Mariners need a run to keep this World Series dream alive. After 8 innings of play, Toronto 4, Seattle 3. You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny.
I've been teetering on the edge of buying back into Spencer Rattler, and I'm back in. I'm in the Rat Pack. He's been so much better this year as a manager of the pocket, and that is leading to some of the production we're getting, coupled with better decision-making overall. I really think he has taken a step forward as a quarterback and should be a starter in the NFL.
Check out the Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle. Unlock all of ESPN and all of Fox One with one unbeatable price. Catch the biggest games, college football, NBA, NHL, and more on ESPN. Stream your faves, Big Noon Saturday, the World Series, and NASCAR on Fox One. All for just $39.99 a month. That's 20% off. The ESPN Fox One bundle. Offer valid for eligible subscribers only. Access content from each service separately. Savings compared to purchasing both plans separately. See stream.espn.com for complete terms and conditions.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Game 7 of this American League Championship Series is presented by Loan Depot with Eduardo Perez, Tim Kirkshin, and Buster Olney with the post-game interview. I'm Carl Ravitch. Jeff Hoffman, the inconsistent, albeit very good pitcher yesterday, is on to try to close it.
Well, Eduardo, you said the series really hasn't had that really one-run game. Well, we've got it now.
And this is the thing. Hoffman threw 35 pitches yesterday in 2 innings. And during the warm-ups, he only threw 1 strike. Everything was falling arm side. He is throwing right now with all guts.
The Blue Jays are 3 outs away from a return trip to the World Series. The last one was in '93. The Mariners have never been, and they need 1 to tie. The big, tall righty Hoffman fires. Rifus bunts one down the third base side, and it's foul. And he's behind 0-1.
I wish he would have tried to actually drag instead of pushing. Ernie Clement, excellent defender, was playing in at third base. Vladdy was playing way deep, and so was Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
A 3-run home run, George Springer, in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rescued the Blue Jays, got them on top 4-3. The 0-1, Rivas takes it. 1 ball, 1 strike, a splitter that was down. Hoffman is 32 years old. He's 6'5", 235. And he's ready on the 1-1. Rivas takes a fastball in there for a strike at 95. It's 1-2.
"35 pitches were the most he's thrown in any game this year, and he's following up with the biggest inning of his life."
Rivas will ask for time, and he will be granted. Now back in the box. 9th inning, 1-2. Toronto leads 4-3, 3 outs away from a series. Rivas looks at one that Hoffman missed on. It's 2-2.
Good eye right there on the splitter. A lot of hitters chase that. Rivas tracked it all the way down.
Hoffman went 9-7, regular season, 33 saves, an ERA though of 4.37. 2-2. 3-2 as he missed down.
My concern is more not velocity as it is command after having thrown 35 yesterday.
What a big pitch here to lead off the top of the 9th. 3-2 to Rivas from Hoffman. He got him swinging. A fastball up, and there's 1 away.
He chased out of the zone. And Rivas, who was disciplined the entire time, went out of the zone and chased it right there. Big strikeout for Hoffman.
One down, and the pinch hitter is going to be Dominic Canzone, who is 2 for 21 with 7 strikeouts in this series. Bats from the left side, takes ball 1.
Well, he's got power. They're hoping he can run into one right now.
One out in the 9th. Leading 4-3, Hoffman pitches. Canzone pops it up behind home. Kirk's given a look at it, and it is 1 row into the seats, just beyond the screen. That close. Canzone gets another chance. This was a Blue Jay team that was picked to finish middle of the pack in the American League East. They were a last-place team last year. They're 2 outs away from a trip to the World Series. 4-3 Blue Jays, 1-1 on the way to Canzone.
2-1 as Hoffman missed badly with a splitter. Julio Rodriguez is the on-deck hitter. He's got a double and a homer. The 2-1. Canzone, a swing and a miss. A fastball at 94.
What's he throw here, Eddie?
I don't know. But it better be good.
1 out, 2-2. Crowd all on their feet at Rogers Center. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back punch-outs for Hoffman. A 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And all that stands in the way between the Blue Jays and a berth in the World Series is Julio Rodriguez.
With Cal Raleigh on deck.
And both leadoff hitters have had a great game.
Two outs in the ninth. Toronto leading at 4-3. Hoffman to Julio. That's high, ball one. Hoffman at the belt. The 1-0 to Julio. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. And the MVP candidate, Cal Raleigh, who homered, is on deck. Hoffman would love to avoid that confrontation. 2-0. Here it comes. Swing and a miss, and he went with a slider. 2-1.
It's a gutsy call right there, especially with Cal Raleigh on deck, going with the slider.
League hit 125 off that pitch this year.
2 outs, 2-1. Blue Jays lead it 4-3. Hoffman delivers. Rodriguez fouls it back. And the Blue Jays are a strike away. Hoffman is ready. The 2-2 with 2 outs on the way. Down, it's 3-2. He went with a slider and missed.
Boy, he went 2-0 slider. Julio has to have that in the back of his mind. He's got to look for something up, but he has to be disciplined to lay off the fastball out of the zone up.
It all comes down to Julio Rodriguez. 2 outs, 3-2. Blue Jays lead 4-3. Hoffman fires. It is caught by Kirk, and that will end it. 32 years after a World Series, the glory days are back in Toronto. From last place last year to the World Series this year.
Fourth team ever to lose the first 2 at home and come back to win a 7-game series.
Absolute devastation, crushing defeat for the Mariners, who are snake-bitten and once again come up short of a World Series. Many, if not most of the Mariners are on their bench watching the Blue Jays celebrate right around the mound of Rogers Center. Vlad Guerrero, head and hands, can't believe it. And remember how the season started.
And tears for Vladdy as well. This is emotional. Born in Canada, Montreal to be exact. Signed a mega deal to stay here at home. In the first year of that deal, he's going to the promised land.
$500 million for Guerrero. Gossman played a role in it. He was enticed to come north of the border because of Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero and what he thought they were potentially building. Bo Bichette may come back for the World Series. George Springer hits the 3-run home run in the 7th that turned the series around.
And then Jeff Hoffman, who threw 35 pitches last night, struck out the side in the 9th inning for the save.
Oh, this city's going to be partying all night.
We will wait to get our post-game interviews, but there are a handful of heroes for Toronto in this one, including the George Springer 3-run home run, Vlad Guerrero all series long, and the pitching of Guerrero, of Gossman, and then Hoffman. And how many times did you sort of question some of the decisions through the course of this game that were being made by both?
Every inning for the last 6 innings. That's the beauty of the postseason, especially Game 7. And my 25th Game 7 was memorable, to say the least.
The 9th go-ahead home run in the career of George Springer. And a great embrace going on between Vlad Guerrero and Max Scherzer. And again, a hearty congratulations to the Blue Jays and an oft-maligned John Schneider, who has managed this team with a lot more confidence than he's had in years past.
And he's in full tears.
Now, this means so much on a personal level to Guerrero, and the crowd can see his face on the large jumbo screen. Eyes are bloodshot red from tears. Of course, his dad never got a chance to do this, play in a World Series, and now son Vladdy gets a chance to do it in the first year of a 14-year, $500 million contract.
With one of the great postseason performances that we've ever seen. He will be the MVP of the ALCS, but it was more than that. It was the damage he did against the Yankees.
Buster with George Springer.
George, congrats. You're going to the World Series. How you feeling?
Unbelievable. So happy for our fans, our city, this team, our country. Just unbelievable moment for everybody.
Right. Take us through that at bat. They had been challenging you with fastballs. Of course, coming back from being hit on the knee. What were you trying to do as you get ready for that plate appearance?
Get the guy in from third. I didn't want to spoil unbelievable at-bats before me, and I didn't want to spoil unbelievable bunt. So just trying to get the guy in from third, and yeah.
Tell me what it felt like when it left the bat to you.
Well, I knew I got the guy in from third, but everything else after that was kind of up in the air. But I'm just so happy right now, honestly.
The reaction from your teammates when you got back to the dugout, reaction from the crowd.
Unbelievable. I love all these boys. I love this city, these fans. This is for them.
Congrats, George.
Thank you.
Yeah, George Springer is such a neat story. He's such a well-rounded athlete, and it was also well-chronicled. And that interview right there says so much about Springer. Growing up in the state of Connecticut, had a real hard time dealing with a stuttering problem, which clearly he's been able to get over as his self-confidence continued to grow and grow as he got older. Became a all-star player in his baseball career and just delivered, again, next to the Joe Carter homer. I mean, one of the great home run swings in Blue Jay history.
Well, top 3 or 4 at the worst. And again, one of the great postseason players we've ever seen. He comes to this team, Eduardo, and hits a 3-run homer at the perfect time.
The George Springer home run is number 2. Look, Joe Carter wins the World Series. This one takes you to the World Series. Joey Bats just dropped down now to number 3, I think, in this young and rich history of Toronto Blue Jay baseball.
Roberto Alomar hit one off Dennis Eckersley that helped get them to that's in the conversation that's also. Right. That's all right. I'm saying for in top Oakland. 3. Right.
Let's just quickly address the Mariners and the season they had. I'm assuming there'll be some second guessing about Bizzardo's appearance, but that always happens. And actually, Buster's with Vladimir Guerrero.
Vladdy are going to play in the World Series. What do you think?
I mean, this is amazing. I don't got words to explain how I feel right now. Thank you. But to me, it's like I give it the glory to God. If it wasn't for him, we not would have won today.
Right, tell me what you were seeing in George Springer when he comes up to the plate, 2 runners on base, bottom of the 7th inning.
I call it home run. Because I was praying. And the inning before, I went inside and prayed to God. And I know that he heard me. And thank God, George, he got home run.
Tell me what was in your heart when you see the ball go over the wall.
I was pointing to the sky, giving to glory to God, and I feel so good we're coming with a W today.
All right, you're going to be playing the Dodgers in the World Series. What do you think?
I mean, now we're gonna rest a little bit, and then we're gonna try to win it all again.
Looked like you were very emotional, hugging teammates after the game.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's something we worked so hard for this point, and thank God we did it.
Laddie, congrats. Thank you.
Well, this whole journey starts, in February. For many, it's just year-round, but they go to spring training into February and March, and here we are in the 3rd week of October, and it's the Toronto Blue Jays, John Schneider, Vlad Guerrero, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Gossman, that get to go and play for a World Series title.
Right, and I told you again that a scout told me at the beginning of the playoffs, this will be the October of Vladdy, and so far it has been. But it's also been George Springer's resurgent season this year, where he went from a guy they weren't sure if he was still a good player to a guy who's going to finish in the top 5 of the MVP, and then he hit a 3-run homer tonight to win this game.
He didn't settle. And you look at what George Springer had to do in the offseason, work, adapt his swing, understand that he is not the 25-year-old kid anymore, not the 30-year-old guy. And, man, has he turned it around. And what a beautiful moment he had here. And the Toronto Blue Jays are celebrating because of that one swing.
An entire country is celebrating, and they will host Game 1 here in Toronto of the World Series on Friday night. And, of course, you can hear every game on ESPN Radio. It's been a blast. It always is.
Right. The Blue Jays finished in last place last year. They got off to a slow start this year. They went into Seattle, won 3 games in a row, and that's really what turned the season around. Then they up beating the Mariners in Game 7 of the ALCS. What a storied season for the Blue Jays.
A wounded George Springer delivers the biggest blow with that 3-run home run to rally them to a 4-3 victory. Congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. The World Series is set. It's the Dodgers trying to defend against Toronto, looking to win for the first time since 1993. For Eduardo Perez, Tim Kirkshin, our producer, Mike Martino, rock solid all series long, and of course our great engineer, Smilin' Jack Hicks. I'm Carl Ravitch from the Rogers Center in Toronto. Christine Lisi is in the studio with the postgame show.
My goodness, Carl, what a game. Thank you, Carl, Eduardo, Tim, Buster, and the rest of our incredible ESPN radio crew in Toronto. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Coming up on Baseball Tonight, George Springer does it again in October. This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
ESPN Hockey Night.
Panthers have agreed to a trade with the Bruins to acquire Brad Marchand.
Marchand returns to Boston, not as a friend, but as a foe with another ring.
The Florida Panthers are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Will the Beantown faithful welcome him back?
What a goal by Brad Marchand!
ESPN Hockey Night presented by Honda. Panthers Bruins at 7:30 Eastern. Avalanche Mammoth at 10. Tuesday on ESPN and the ESPN app.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 or in Mississippi.
October baseball is here, which means the MLB stage is bigger, the lights brighter, and your style, it's gotta rise with it. From fresh jerseys and iconic caps to hoodies, jackets, and must-have accessories, every postseason fit tells a story because October baseball isn't just play, it's what you live, it's what you wear, it's showing off and showing out. So this October, go big, go bold. Rep your squad's postseason moment at MLBshop.com. MLB trademarks used with permission.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the weather first, before wearing face paint to the game.
Bro, your Go Cats is dripping into your nachos.
Oh, and now paint is in my eyes.
Interception! Did you see that?
No! Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No, we'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has all the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats right at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy teams synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Can't get enough baseball? Start streaming MLB Network today. Get up to 15 out-of-market games a week live on any device. Plus 24/7 access to MLB Network's award-winning shows, including live game look-ins and exclusive player interviews. And hear live radio play-by-play from all 30 clubs with MLB at Bat. Enjoy the home of baseball from virtually anywhere. Plans start as low as $5.99 per month. Sign up now at MLBnetwork.com/stream. Available in the U.S. only. Blackout restriction applies. Visit MLB.com/subscribe for full terms and conditions.
You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is the Baseball Tonight postgame show on ESPN Radio. Now it's time for our Game Flow, brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. See if you can save at ProgressiveCommercial.com. The visiting Mariners on the board first in Game 7 of the ALCS in Toronto with a Josh Naylor RBI single top of the first. Dalton Varsho singled in the game-tying run in the bottom of that inning. Seattle would grab the lead in the top of the third.
Another 2-2. And Julio rips one to left center field. Did he get it all? Oh, boy, did he ever. It's about 15 rows deep left center field. And I tell you, the ankle feels good. 2-1 now, Seattle.
The M's would add to that lead 2 innings later, courtesy of an AL MVP candidate.
Varland holds that glove in front of his face. Now he fires. Raleigh sends one to right field. That one sends Barger back. And Cal Raleigh, the home run king, delivers a big fly to the bullpen. And the Mariners now have a 3-1 lead.
Then in the bottom of the 7th, George Springer did something he's repeatedly done throughout his career, come through in the clutch in the postseason.
The 1-0. Swing and a drive, left field. This one is back. George Springer just had his Kirk Gibson moment. Bad knee and all, a 3-run homer to put the Blue Jays ahead. A Springer dinger. Blue Jays 4, Mariners 3.
That was the 23rd career postseason home run for Springer, tied with Kyle Schwarber for third most all time. Of course, that was our Getting It Done play of the game, brought to you by Grainger. With supplies and solutions for every industry, Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Top 9, 2 down, Blue Jays still clinging to a 4-3 lead.
It all comes down to Julio Rodriguez. 2 outs, 3-2. Blue Jays lead 4-3. Hoffman fires.
It is caught by Kirk, and that will end it. 32 years after a World Series, the glory days are back in Toronto. From last place last year to the World Series this year.
So Toronto will host the Dodgers in Game 1 of the World Series on Friday, 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Meanwhile, manager Dan Wilson's Mariners remain the lone MLB team without a World Series appearance.
It's due to how hard they've worked, how hard they've played all season long, all the times they've come back, all the times they've bounced back. It's a special team in there, and it's just it's a shame we had to come out on the wrong side of this one.
And Tyler in the third row. Dan, understanding that Bizzardo has been great, Munoz not getting in until after you'd lost the lead, does that stick with you at all? I mean, he seemed to have a lot of rest. It was great this postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you make your decisions, and sometimes you have to live and die with it, and I think again, the way Zardo has thrown the ball all season long, we were comfortable with where we were, and it just again didn't go our way.
Adam on your right, Dan.
Dan, you've given so much of your career and your life to this organization. You have the perspective that a lot of people don't. Just what are the emotions now that it has come to an end here?
It's very, very mixed. Disappointed, obviously, frustrated, but incredibly proud of what those guys have done. Incredibly proud of what they've done all season long, and the team that's in there. You just can't say enough good things about the way those guys have played. And when you look at the pieces that were added, you're grateful to the organization, to Jerry and Justin for putting all of it together. It was just an outstanding season, a great series here. But it's tough to come up on the short end.
Brady on your left.
Dan, you guys lost in a similar way in 2000, but then also came back in 2001 and had a great year. Maybe how do you go about kind of processing it and then maybe using it as motivation going into the next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us now have had a taste of how close we can get and how good this team can be. And so I think once you get that, that's what you're shooting for again the next year. And I know that will continue to be the goal. That was the goal this year. It will continue to be the goal is to get to that final step. And this year we were one game short.
Mariners manager Dan Wilson. Today's trivia question is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Toronto's George Springer played in his 8th winner-take-all postseason game tonight, too shy of the Major League record of 10. Who holds the record? Yadier Molina. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Coming up on Baseball Tonight, we'll get you set for the World Series. You're listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The NBA on ESPN Radio.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder begin the defense of their title on opening night. They go head-to-head against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets.
Durant for three. Good!
The Rockets at the Thunder. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern, with tip-off at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
What's up, kiddos? Clinton Yates here. Coming up on Tuesday, the Blue Jays and Mariners are fighting for a spot in the World Series. We'll break that down and react to a 2-pack of Monday Night Football games. That's Tuesday on Clinton and Friends at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, I'm Greg McElroy, former Alabama quarterback and host of Always College Football from Omaha Productions. 5 days a week, I'll be taking a deep dive into the world of college football with some of the biggest names on and off the field. And off seasons here are a thing of the past. Always College Football goes year-round with analysis, opinions, and insight from the top teams from coast to coast. Always College Football with Greg McElroy. Available where you get your podcast.
This is Adam Schefter, and on this week's episode, here comes the Chiefs, the story of the season so far, and why there will be a lot of trades in the next few weeks. The Adam Schefter Podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Exclusively on ESPN, UFC 321, this Saturday. At a special time of 2 p.m. Eastern, the heavyweight championship is on the line as reigning champion Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall, the UFC heavyweight champion,
defends his belt against dangerous contender Cyril Gane.
This man's absolutely terrifying.
UFC 321, Saturday at a special time of 2 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV.
The NBA on ESPN Radio.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder begin the defense of their title on opening night. They go head-to-head against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets.
Durant for three.
The Rockets at the Thunder. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern, with tip-off at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It's hard for your team to play tough and disciplined when your passing game is non-existent. You can't be competitive in today's football without being able to throw the ball. And Justin Fields can't throw the ball. That can't be acceptable if you're Aaron Glenn. Your quarterback can't be an impediment to your team's success each and every week. And yet, that's where we're at with the New York Jets.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Every Saturday morning, ACC Huddle is coming to you live from the marquee matchup of the week.
In town for just one night. I'm trying to get down.
Join the Huddle team as they count down to kickoff with in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and everything you need to know about ACC football.
This guy is elite.
He's going to be a valuable asset to an NFL team.
ACC Huddle, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
This is the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is the Baseball Tonight post-game show. The answer to our AutoZone in the Zone poll question, the hero of tonight's Game 7, George Springer.
The 1-0. Swing and a drive, left field. This one is back. George Springer just had his Kirk Gibson moment. Bad knee and all, a 3-run homer to put the Blue Jays ahead. A Springer dinger. Blue Jays 4, Mariners 3.
So thanks to Springer, the Blue Jays are in the World Series for the first time in 32 years. They'll face a Dodgers team who's got a chance to become Major League Baseball's first repeat champs since the Yankees won 3 in a row from 1998 through 2000. LA's starting rotation is just one reason they've got the chance to accomplish that feat, says Dodgers broadcaster Jerry Hairston Jr.
I think they got to make sure they hit with runners in scoring position. I didn't think they did that from a performance standpoint the way they're capable of doing in that last series. I think they need to be better against either the Seattle Mariners or the Toronto Blue Jays.
Game 1 of the World Series, Friday, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Our next broadcast, NBA opening night, Rockets at the Thunder tomorrow, 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Coming up next, it's game night. For producer Josiah Howard, technical director Camilo Ortiz, and associate producer Stas Cienki, I'm Christine Lisi. Thanks for listening to the American League Championship Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.